Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Granny's Peach Tea. This is episode 30. So, a little bit of a milestone episode.
30.
Episode 30, dude.
Wow.
I know, that's
we're getting up in the age there.
We are. I know Jada and Kyle just had their 50th last week, so we're chasing them down little by little, but it's awesome, and we're catching up, and it's exciting that we have a certain trailer drop this week involving somebody, and that we've all been waiting for. We won't name it, but we'll be kicking things off with that. And what is this? We got some comments. Yes, 3-0 already. Yeah, that's right, Farashi. We are 30 already. It's kind of amazing,
right? Can you believe it?
And we're
I felt when I turned 30.
We're getting kudos on our opening theme. Thanks, boss. We appreciate that.
Thank you, boss man.
We're super excited. We got a lot to talk about. We got some 2 trailer reactions to get into. We got Spider-Man No Way Home. We got Eternals dropped another trailer, which kind of got lost in the shuffle completely with the bananas excitement over No Way Home trailer.
I got to admit, I didn't even know it came out until you texted me like an hour ago. You were like, did you catch this Eternals trailer? And I was like, the what now? I saw the Spider-Man one like 6 times.
I lost count, dude. I really did lose count. Thank you, Jonathan. I appreciate it. Pretty jacked up for this one. So we got the trailer reactions. We got a bunch of CW stuff to jump into since we were a little bit behind, but we will get caught up tonight. We got 2 What If episodes to discuss. And we got Titans because they drop on Thursday, so we'll always be, seems like, slightly behind on those. But thank you for joining us, whether it's the Facebook stream, if you're joining us on YouTube, if you're joining us on Twitter, if you're joining us on Instagram, or if it's the audio-only version, wherever you found your podcasts. Much appreciated. Always appreciate the support. Dude, let's jump into it, because we can't get started lately unless we have an episode. We got to get our Baywatch nights in, Jason. So tell us, what's up? What happened with Baywatch nights? Because I know you're excited to talk about this.
All right, everyone, gather around, my children, because Baywatch Nights is back on brand. This episode 10, the title of it is called "Kind of a Drag." Okay, maybe we don't know where we're going yet. Well, the first scene is a woman's body being rescued, not rescued because she's already dead, being retrieved from the water by the Baywatch, troops. It's weird. They've got their own boat. And they pull her, this woman, and they pull her hair off and they go, this woman's a man. Dun, dun, dun. And this whole episode is about female impersonators, and that's the language actually this episode uses. I'm actually going to give this episode a lot of kudos in a second. But so it's all about female impersonators who are coming to the club, trying out for the role of this older actress who is passed on, and her son is making this movie about her, and so there are lots of females. She's a female impersonator icon, and the female impersonators are being systematically killed by someone in a Richard Nixon mask doing a Richard Nixon impression. So someone's walking around going, "You'll never be in this movie."
Did you not? Are you sure you watched Point Break? Are you sure you didn't just watch Point Break and that's what happened?
I swear to you, I didn't watch Point Break, all right?
Okay.
I watched it a bit late last night, but it was not Point Break, I promise you. If you watch this episode, it's all there.
Was Eric on that episode? Farashi wants to know. I mean, because we know Eric's acting career and wrestling career was going on at that point.
I wish Eric was on that episode. Maybe Eric was the person behind the Nixon mask. I've never heard his Nixon impression.
So hold on, without spoiling it, are you telling me they didn't? I'm sorry, are you telling me they didn't rip off the mask at the end of the episode like Scooby-Doo?
Of course they did. I didn't want to alienate people. That was a funny gag. That's fine. And we find out that Mitch Buchanan takes his hot dog, hold the mustard, relish, onions, and chili. All right, just a small note.
Interesting.
But then, I haven't even gotten to the craziest part yet. And if guys, you know where this is coming from. Hasselhoff dresses in drag. Because he has to go undercover to be a female impersonator. And you actually get to see him sing as a female impersonator. He's in like a black 1920s slinky dress, and he's singing My Funny Valentine. Now, a couple of great things about this episode. One, there's a running gag throughout the episode where Mitch is seeing a woman, and the first time they get together, he's like a bit too aggressive, and she's like, "You got to get in touch with your feminine side," and she walks away. And then next time she sees him, it's the first time he's gone undercover, is walking out in the black dress, and it freaks her out. And she says, well, now this is too much. And he goes, but you said get in touch with my feminine side. This episode ends with her walking in, dressed up as a man, going, well, you've inspired me. I'm more in touch with my masculine side. And then they just get together. And it's never a punchline. No one dressing in drag is ever a punchline. It's handled with respect. They take the case of one of these female impersonators for below the money that they usually take cases for, because Mitch is very, very insistent that these people deserve justice. And I want to point out that this is a show that Hasselhoff is a writer, the star, and co-creator. Nothing gets on this show without him, which what I'm saying is this is a very forward-thinking mid-90s television show, and I think it's because of the Hoff.
Wow. I did not know that David Hasselhoff had that much creative control over Baywatch nights. I mean, I know it's a lot to be a lifeguard in the daytime and then running your own private investigating firm at night, and on top of that, he's producing and writing. This dude doesn't sleep, or didn't sleep at that point.
He did not sleep, and he performed he sang the theme song.
And as he did for Kung Fury.
Well, yeah. Yes, Kung Fury is no Baywatch Nights, my friend.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's fair. David Hasselhoff looks like John Kreese from Karate Kid.
I mean, if David Hasselhoff was like a stone statue.
Yeah, you have to show me a picture of that one, because I'm not sure Martin Cove and David Hasselhoff look anything alike. The Hoff might take exception to that. That would be hassling him further, because I'm sure the Hoff takes a lot of pride in his hair there. So, wow, that is some episode.
This was the craziest episode to date, and it's not just because because Hasselhoff is in women's clothing, because they did that a lot around this time. But it was it's just insane. He's singing My Funny Valentine, and Lou Rawls is there. And he's singing I Just Want to Make Love to You. It's like, it's weird the jazz cachet this show has, and I think that's always what gets me. It is, like I told you, B.B. King was on an episode. It's crazy.
All right, anyway, well, that's pretty wild.
Watch this episode. Episode 10.
Wow. So the chicken episode and the dressing and drag episode with some more jazz singing. All right. Interesting journey through the Baywatch nights here that we're getting here. How many episodes are left in the season?
No, these are full 22 episode seasons. So, and I've got two seasons. So I'm episode 10 in. I'm not even halfway through the first season. We got time.
All right. Well, I think we get to it then. I think we get to probably a moment many have been waiting for, who've been fans of our page and the show and everything like that. So a certain trailer dropped Monday night. It was the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer, which it seems like the universe was waiting for, because it also broke the Avengers Endgame record for most views and comments on Twitter and social media in the first 24 hours. It actually blew away Avengers Endgame, who was the previous record holder. That's pretty astonishing.
Wow, yes. That's huge. I
did not expect that. And maybe leading the charge is probably Alex, who said, "Screw Christmas, right. I'm waiting for this movie to come out." Dude, me and you both, man.
Well, I'll tell you something. Ed, you texted me last night or a couple nights ago when it dropped the link to the trailer, and 15 seconds later, Alex texted me the same link, and you said to me, like, I'm sure Alex is excited. I'm like, oh no, he's already sent this to me.
I pictured like spontaneous combustion or something like that when this thing dropped. I mean, I know I've been anxious for it, man, but he's on a whole nother level. So thankfully he's safe and he got to see the trailer. He's good to go. Right. Everyone got to see the trailer. Super hyped up. Dude, let's just talk about it from a trailer's perspective. So we know we talked about the movie and how excited we are for it on a couple of episodes. As a trailer, just on its own merit as a trailer. Like we say, a drop of a trailer is supposed to raise your excitement for the film. How would you grade 1 to 10 the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer before we get into details?
Oh, like a 12. Like, I'm so excited for this after watching that. You know, like, it's because up until that trailer, we had no idea what this movie was going to be. We had some rumors and we had some things we knew and we had some things we suspected, but like, you know, everyone's out there making memes about, oh, poor Doctor Strange has got to fix the multiverse, and then what do we find out in this trailer? No, it's probably Doctor Strange's fault, guys, which I loved. And what got me excited about this trailer is we get, like, this wasn't a teaser, this was like a meaty trailer. We get like some actual plot points to sort of grab onto, and from what I've seen, I'm really freaking excited to see this movie.
Yeah, no, me too. I think 1 to 10, I agree. I'm probably like 12, 13, 14, 15, whatever the hell you want to put it. It's pretty damn exciting. It got me even more excited for it. I mean, I think we can get into details then as well. You're right, Jason. We knew there was a lot of rumors on the internet. There's still the rumors of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield making their return as their respective Spider-Men in the past for Sony's previous films. We don't see them in the trailer, though. And actually, I think it's better that we don't. I had a feeling that was going to be everyone's gut reaction. They were going to bitch and moan that we didn't see Tobey and we don't see Andrew Garfield because they still have not been confirmed for it. But Alfred Molina was confirmed officially, you know, for the film, so which is why I believe that they showed him. I mean, Jamie Foxx is pretty much like just about confirmed as well, but we don't see him either. So I think it was smart of them to show Doctor Strange, who we know was in the film. You know, we knew that he was in there. We knew that that Alfred Molina was in it. So we knew that. We know it had to deal with the multiverse. So it kind of confirmed a lot of the facts that we knew. But that's a great point, though. We did not know how this was going to get kickstarted. Like the big question was, how the hell does this all make sense? And we get the reasoning there. In the trailer, the plot points are that Peter goes to Doctor Strange and is like, hey, listen, you know, all my close people are in danger, and they show Aunt May getting questioned, and they show Ned getting questioned, and we see, you know, MJ is getting put through the ringer too for this, and that he doesn't know what else to do. So he goes to Doctor Strange, and they have a pretty funny exchange there too. And Wong even tells him, listen, don't do it. Don't do the spell. You know, and he kind of goes at it and is like, yeah, I won't do the spell, and winks at him. Which I was starting to wonder. There's a lot of theories I had on this part of it, the trailer, though. Do you think Doctor Strange seemed a little bit off? Maybe,
you think
maybe
someone's
not.
Controlling him?
I don't know. I'm a little skeptical on that right now because I'm not saying that Doctor Strange would never do that. You know where I'm probably going with this. And I'm not saying I'm on that train.
I think you're hinting at.
Before I say the words, because the words have not been said on the show for a couple, or the word, I just want to lay this out there, okay? In the comics, there's a very infamous storyline called One More Day, where Peter and MJ make a deal with Mephisto, and they say,
there it is.
There it is. It's like Pee-wee's Playhouse. It's like there's the buzzword. Mephisto! they make the deal with Mephisto to erase the knowledge of Peter being Spider-Man. So it is there, and in exchange, the relationship between Peter and MJ never happened because Mephisto wants that love to be gone. Okay, now this turned into a very controversial story arc in the comics. A lot of people hated it. I'm not saying I loved it either, but I did read it. I went with it with an open mind. It was basically Marvel's way to reboot Spidey again because it was like, oh, we got to always.
Right?
This is post-Civil War. In the comics, in the Civil War comics, he goes ahead and reveals himself as Peter Parker to the public, and in support of in the comics, it's Superhero Registration Act. So he takes off his mask in front of cameras. The first panel you see is J. Jonah Jameson. His jaw drops, and he like passes out. And obviously he finds out that way. It's a little bit different here, but you can kind of see the inspiration from One More Day here in No Way Home. I don't think it's going to be an exact translation, but to say that the inspiration from that storyline is not here is kind of crazy. So it's there.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up to you, that this seems like it's drawing from that particular storyline. And it's absolutely, and we didn't discuss that before. So I think it's absolutely there. My thing is it like WandaVision, where it drew to an extent and cut off what some people would call vestigial details, like the Mephisto aspect? I wonder if this is going to do the same.
I'm going to say yes. I want to just make sure that we explain the entire theory right there in full of where it's coming from. There are people jumping on the Mephisto train all over again. I am not on the Mephisto train. I'm just explaining why people would be on the Mephisto train. That's all I'm saying. Yes, if I had to put money on it, I would say no. This is not Mephisto. And they're gonna pretty much take the inspiration from it. And Marvel Studios does that a lot. They do take a lot of inspiration from comic storylines. They don't do exact translations, and that's all good. But I'm just saying that
Infinity War was not. I mean, that was drawn from Infinity Gauntlet. But I mean, I that's my favorite comic book run, the Infinity Gauntlet series. That's my favorite crossover, and that is in no way like 100% accurate to the comic. It couldn't be. So, you're right. They do this all the time and successfully a lot of times.
No, very successfully, because it makes sense within the MCU. They did it with Civil War. Civil War, that's not an exact translation from the comic book story either. So there's plenty of them, and it's fine. So if you do see people going bananas with Mephisto, there is a logical reason why they're doing it, not just because we think he's everywhere. So, Jason, would you say, are you on the Mephisto bandwagon with this? Are you jumping back on the train, or are you with me? We're kind of like, not really.
I'm not on the Mephisto train, but I'm not with you either. Ride the Mojo train, baby.
Oh, boy.
Mojo.
Boy.
There's nothing there even for that.
That would be great. If somehow that worked into it, that would be fantastic.
I would be the best. I would never stop talking about it on this show. I would always talk about the one time my Mojo prediction was right. But no, I don't think there's Mephisto at all, to be honest with you, no.
No, I don't think so either. But there is logic behind it. So I think that also there's also a scene where there's like, it looks like Peter is getting interrogated by the police, and they're asking him like, hey, oh yeah, it's your bots that killed Mysterio and everything like that. And then there's somebody who pops into the side, who some people are jumping on saying that has to be Matt Murdock, that has to be Charlie Cox's Daredevil in this. Not on that train either. No, I think it's a dude in a white shirt who's probably a cop also. Not going with that either.
I'm not going with anything I don't see.
Well, there is something I'm going to get to. But there's one huge one we're going to get to. Okay.
Okay. But I'm just saying, unless I see Charlie Cox in a fucking reel then I'm not going to believe he's in this. I'm not going to be like, oh, that guy in the background, that might have been him. No, if I've got to see him to believe it, because there's so much speculation. We just got to see what it is. And I want to tell everyone, like, don't WandaVision this. Like, everyone's got their own like theories and stuff, but just even if your theory is wrong, just enjoy what it is there.
No, and I agree. You don't want to build this up for, because I think there's one huge thing. All right, well, let's jump to the villains part, and then we'll get into the big drop at the end of the trailer. So there are people who are online saying they're speculating that there's sand in one part, so that means the Sandman is it. And Thomas Hayden Church is being rumored that there's potentially a Sandman return in this film as well, which I personally, since he got the raw end of the deal in Spider-Man 3, and I liked his portrayal of Sandman, I would enjoy seeing that. I'm not saying I caught it in this trailer. There was lightning in one part. Oh, and everyone's jumping on Electro, but we know Jamie Foxx is in the film. So
yeah,
I'm not saying
it just seems
it
just seems like such a stretch. Like, oh wait, I just said stretch. Maybe Reed Richards is in the film. I mean, that's what it kind of feels like. like you know, I think here's who he knows in the film: Dr. Octopus, and here is the person I think it is very logically inferenced. It can be inferences in the film is the Green Goblin because of the Goblin bomb and the laugh. And I know that's what you were leading up to, and I'm sorry I jumped on it, but
no, go ahead. You're doing it. Go with it.
But I think that's it. I mean, we can talk about if we think he's in it, and maybe he is and maybe he isn't, because this trailer is telling us very clearly he might be. But to say that I saw sand, so Sandman, I saw electricity, so Electro. There was running water, Hydro, huh?
Hydro Man, obviously in the film.
Right, you can do that with anything. It like, you gotta just look at what it's putting out there. Obviously, it's a trailer. That's it. They're not trying to put Easter eggs to get, okay, can you guess how many people are in this film? They're not doing that.
Exactly. And I mean, I'm standing behind the fact that I definitely think the Sinister Six is going to be in this film. I don't think there's any question about that whatsoever. I am fully on that. I've said it on the show probably since the first episode, whenever we talked about No Way Home, I've repeated myself on that and who I believe it is. So yeah, the pumpkin bomb that's there is obviously the Green Goblin. I don't think there's any question about that.
Right, and they give us the laugh. Like, they give us
and they get the laugh. So I'm in that William Dafoe is back as the Green Goblin. I know that's been an internet rumor there. I'm on board with that. So then we get Alfred Molina's, return as Doc Ock. So we get the tentacle that's there, which notice that it's also red. There's a red light on there, which we know, if you remember back to Spider-Man 2, that means that's when the tentacles are pretty much in charge and not Doc Ock, when it's kind of evil. So I think that's actually a pretty awesome detail that's in there. But then he says, comes back and says, hello, Peter. And then they cut to Tom Holland, suiting up, and then I do the nanotech suit. Definitely, I believe that there's tricky editing at play here. I don't think he's talking to Tom Holland.
Well, because how would he know Tom Holland is Peter Parker? That's not his Peter Parker.
It's not his Peter Parker, which is why I'm gonna go on to say I believe he's talking to Tobey Maguire. I believe Tobey Maguire is in the film. I'm not so sure about Andrew Garfield. I'm gonna be honest. He's the one where I'm a little whimsy about that one. I wouldn't be shocked one way or the other, but I do think you said it perfectly. Don't WandaVision this shit, because if it turns out that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are not in this film, and it's Tom Holland fighting the Sinister Six, I'm all for that. I am not upset about that whatsoever. Some fans who conjured this shit up in their mind, and they're going to be like distraught if these two aren't in it. That's a huge mistake. But, if I have to guess, I think Toby's in it, and I think that's who Alfred Molina's Doc Ock is speaking to right there. Where are you with that?
No, I agree with you, because again, as I said, I don't think he wouldn't know Tom Holland's Peter Parker, and Doc Ock in particular was very close to Peter Parker. So there would have to be a lot to have gone on in the movie, a lot more time than I think they're going to be dedicating to Dr. Octopus to get to that moment, if it's not with Tobey Maguire, because that's the Peter Parker he knows. You know what I mean? There's a level of familiarity there that isn't earned between these two characters, and for it to be earned in the way that this shows, they would need to put some time into it. So yeah, I'm with you on this. What I'm saying.
Yeah, no, and all right, so we're on the Tobey Maguire train right there. So let's get to quick comments here that we got on this from Alex, one of our top fans here. That's what I'm saying. He's probably going to be in the film. We probably edited out Tobey in the trailer. Yeah, I mean it's probably two different shots, and trailers do this all the time. They got to give you some misdirect. So I think that's fine. People think it's Ned as Hobgoblin. Nah, I'm not on that one. Or Amazing Spider-Man 2 is Green Goblin. Sweet Jesus, no.
Wait, no. There was Green Goblin in Amazing Spider-Man 2?
Yeah, like the last 10 minutes.
What the hell was going on in that movie?
Oh, well, when we do our rewatch, October, November-ish, you'll ask that question again. What the hell is going on in that movie? Because it's a complete fucking shit show.
Because you also get like Paul Giamatti's Rhino the last 10 minutes of that movie, right?
And yes, well, you do in the beginning and you do at the end. It's very, very weird. Very weird. It's probably a Mysterio or an evil Doctor Strange, like the next episode of What If. I'm still not 100% sold that Mysterio's dead. But I don't think there's necessarily an evil Doctor Strange or something like that, because if you're going to cast a spell and go for it and create the entire multiverse, no amount of technology can produce that kind of an effect to fool everyone with that. So that one I'm really not, can't say that I'm on that one.
Yeah, good point. That's a very good point.
And then same Doctor Strange was very careless with the effects that the spell can have. He studied magic law and knows about protecting the multiverse, and he still did it. Yeah, I think that's kind of why I don't know. I want to say that somebody might be impersonating Strange. I also want to know more about why is it ice cold in the Sanctum the entire time? Like, what's that whole thing with him in a jacket and there's like snow everywhere? Wong's leaving to maybe go fight the Abomination in Shang-Chi. I'm not sure where the timeline lines up. We'll find out soon enough. I mean, if he shows up and he's like, hey, it was really cold in the Sanctum, I guess we know where the timeline is with these films. But, yeah, I mean, there's just a lot to digest in here. But, yeah,
there's a lot going on in this trailer.
There really, really is. And I just think that the Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield thing, like, again, I'm not getting myself so hyped to see both of them with Tom Holland in this, because I have a feeling, there's a gut feeling that says there's still a decent chance that they're not in the film. If I had to put money on one or the other, I would say Tobey shows up, especially since Tobey is the more universally loved previous incarnation of Spider-Man. Like, Andrew Garfield has his fans, but it was obviously nowhere near as popular.
Yeah, because in a lot of ways, Tobey Maguire was the first Spider-Man, the first legitimate Spider-Man that we got on screen for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
The way I stand with this is my wildest dreams is to get the multiverse so fractured that I get David Hasselhoff as Nick Fury. However,
oh my God,
I'd say wildest dreams right, but however, no matter what happens, I'm going to enjoy this movie. I mean, I think that's what it is. We have to really divorce ourselves from what we kind of wish is going to happen and what does happen, because I think that's where a lot of people start getting angry at films, is that they don't. I think that's a lot what happened to the Star Wars fandom, right? It didn't go where a lot of people wanted it to go, and it pissed some people off, and the fandom fractured. And I think you just have to, you can want what you want out of these movies, but I think you just have to evaluate, is what you were given good or not? And if it was, even if it's not what you wanted, I mean, if it's good, it's good.
Yeah, if it's well written and it's coherent and it makes sense within, and it's true to the characters and stuff like that, then I agree. I agree with you 100%, Jason. Then that's what you get for it. That's what you judge it on. You can't judge it on merits that are just because the creative people behind the film didn't sink in with what you conjured up in your mind does not mean that it failed all of a sudden. I will admit, after some rewatches, just touching on Star Wars very quickly, I think Last Jedi is a better film than it gets credit for.
I liked Last Jedi.
Yeah, I think it gets a better film than it gets credit for. Rise of Skywalker, it hits all the fanboy heartbeats, plot points where you want to get you excited just to see people. But when you break it down logically, Swiss cheese. There's a lot of holes in there, and you either choose to overlook them or you don't. MCU hasn't really had a lot of those problems, so I'm super confident we're going to get a great film. It's just that make sure your expectations of these cameos are in check, and the cameos need to make sense. I don't want to see people randomly popping up just because it's like, hey, I'm here, remember me? And then I'm here for no reason and I'm out of here. Like, that would make absolutely no sense. We got that with Crisis on Infinite Earths from the CW verse, and sometimes it was cool, sometimes it was stupid.
Yeah, it didn't work all the time. And I agree with you. These cameos have to make sense. Like, I want, like if I go in there and the Dr. Octopus cameo, which I'm very excited about, doesn't make sense, I'm going to fucking talk about it on the show. I'm not going to be happy about it. It's got to make sense. And I think that's something, too. It's like we can only make so many of these cameos make sense without detracting from our movie. So we're not all necessarily going to get the cameos we want. But we're all getting Dr. Octopus, and I think that's a huge deal.
Yeah, and as far as the Sinister Six goes, before we wrap this up and move on, I've said it repeatedly, but I'll go again. The Foe's Green Goblin. Melina's Doc Ock. I think we're going to get Jamie Foxx's Electro. I'm pretty confident in that. Vulture is in play. Michael Keaton's Vulture is completely in play. I don't know why he wouldn't be. And Vulture's a pretty prominent member of the Sinister Six.
Any talk about Michael Keaton being in this movie?
There hasn't been a lot because I think that's being overshadowed by the 6,000 cameos. I mean, there's been really crazy shit, like Emma Stone as like Gwen Stacy coming back, and Kirsten Dunst as another MJ and everything. And I'm not saying that you won't get them for like a scene or two if their Spider-Man is in the film,
right?
But again, make sure there's a reason why they're there. I can't conjure up a reason of why they would be in the film because I don't think it makes a whole lot of sense. But, and this is a good point here too. As Alex brings up, I don't think we're getting a James Franco. No, I don't. I don't see the point in him being in the film at all.
Nope.
Doesn't make any sense.
No, same here. Even if he wasn't canceled, like I don't think there's a place for him in the film.
No, not really. I mean, he was actually pretty. You look back on it, he was pretty bad in the Spider-Man films. Not his best acting. I guess in the first one he's passable. The second and third, I just think it just gradually got worse. Like, that was not his best acting by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, well, I mean, is he a great actor though, or a good actor? Like, what is his best role? Do you think?
He's pretty damn good as Tommy Wiseau.
Oh yeah, no, he was good as that. All right, I'll take it back. He was.
Really gotta give him that. That's pretty impressive.
I forgot he was in that. We saw that together. So yeah, we did see that together. Yeah, that was pretty impressive, actually. Okay, I take it back. He's a good actor.
Yeah, and then for the sixth member of the Sinister Six, I mean, I think that Shocker and Scorpion are thrown out there in the MCU also. They're there. I don't think they introduced them to never follow up again.
Especially Scorpion.
Yeah, Matt Gorgon is locked up with Adrian Toomes.
Yeah.
So I can see those two being there, and they all have bones to pick with Peter.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get a Shocker again. I think like they kind of did what they're doing with Shocker in, because he's such a secondary villain. But I think they set the Scorpion up as something in that movie. They'd be foolish not to follow up on it. Yeah, so and I think it's important to make sure that it's not just if there is the Sinister Six, which I believe there will be, that it's not just all multiverse Sinister Six. I can see a half and half, or something like that. There'll be a combination of it. Maybe you go 2, and 2, like 2 Tobey, 2 Garfield Spider-Man, and then 2 MCU ones, maybe. But
Yeah, I think we're definitely in Sinister Six, and it would make sense then that the two other Spider-Men, or another Spider-Man at least, would come back to help, our current Spider-Man fight him. Or he fights them by himself, as he often does in the comics.
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
not like he always has help fighting the Sinister Six.
You think we may get like a Miles Morales thing in this one? Because Miles Morales is an alternate universe Spider-Man, right? In the comic?
He is an alternate universe Spider-Man. That's a fair point. No, he is in the comic, and then he ends up joining the 616 because they decided to destroy the Ultimate Universe because it was a mixed bag. They bring him in. The only reason I might shy away from saying we're going to get a live-action Miles at this point is because I think this Peter is still young enough where a younger Miles would be. And they do tease Miles in Spider-Man Homecoming.
That's true, because
they tease him.
The Prowler's in it.
Yes, the Prowler is there, and he mentions his nephew, and that's in Brooklyn and everything like that. So it's there, but I don't know. I don't think. Plus, I also think that they're focused on Miles's universe being the animated universe with Spider-Verse and the sequel coming out.
Okay,
they're kind of doing their own thing. So I kind of see the focus of the animated movies being Miles, and then Peter Parker being the focus of the live action. So
that makes a lot of sense.
But if they did it, I could understand it. It would make some sense. So,
yeah, I just had that thought because it's a multiverse thing. But
no, that's a great thought. Right? I didn't even think of it. Oh, this is labeled a teaser trailer.
This is a teaser trailer.
This is it's a 3-minute teaser trailer, which means we're going to get a second trailer, and we're probably going to get a final trailer like right before it comes out. So we're probably getting 2 more. Now, I don't think we're going to see Toby or Garfield if they're in the film.
And I don't want to.
No, I don't. I don't want that to happen. I agree. I don't think we're seeing him in the trailer. Maybe you'll see William Dafoe in one of the next 2 because, again, you put the Goblin Bomb out.
Yeah.
The Pumpkin Bomb's been out there, so.
Because at this point, Willem Dafoe is the only one I would be kind of disappointed isn't in the movie if he isn't, just because they put the pumpkin bomb out. They put the idea in my head. You know what I mean?
Yes, and I don't think that was a mistake. I think what they're doing very smartly for marketing is we know all the shit is all over the internet. We get all the rumors. We hear them. We see them. We're going to give you little taste by little taste here and there. And that's what you're going to get. So we know Doc Ock is there. So we're going to give you that. Give you a little pumpkin bomb. Next one, maybe a little more, and then that's it.
Yeah, I'm excited for this movie. I'm absolutely excited for this movie.
Nah, super jacked up. All right, so let's get on to the other trailer that kind of got laid to the wayside, and it actually dropped last week, and we did not chat too much about it. It was the Eternals released their final trailer. The trailer answers a lot of questions that I think a lot of people had, even though not the most known heroes here with the Eternals. I mean, I admittedly don't know too much about a lot of them. So that brings a different kind of excitement to me because you've talked about it plenty of times, Jason. When you don't know that much about a hero that we're getting a movie about, you kind of get a different level of excitement because you're like, holy shit, I'm going to learn something all new now.
Right, exactly, and that's where I'm with this. Where I'm with Shang-Chi, it's like I don't know anything about these guys. Let's see what's going on. I'm in.
Yeah, let's fucking do it. This trailer the Eternals trailer raised my level of excitement for the film because I was like, okay, it's an MCU film. We're gonna see it. It'll probably be good because they seem to do a great job with most of their vast majority of their films. But we got to see more action. We got more explanation, like, hey, why didn't you guys interfere and fight Thanos? Or pretty much, why has no one ever heard of you before? Yep. And they kind of give an explanation there. And we see a fucking Celestial that was there. So that's also pretty awesome. We get to see some of their abilities and their powers and their fighting in action. I'm pretty cool with this. And I think there's this interesting story out there that I was reading the other day that I kind of... It's added some intrigue to this because pretty much the rumors are now, since certain movies are getting moved around, and Disney made the move to say, hey, Shang-Chi is only going to be theatrical release. There's no more Disney Plus after the fiasco that happened with Black Widow's box office. Smart.
Yeah.
But if Shang-Chi doesn't do numbers that they're satisfied with, that there's a chance they might delay Eternals.
Ooh.
Because of the Delta variant going around,
Yeah,
and maybe
that's
people
right.
aren't all running back, which I can understand makes some type of sense from our perspective of people who are fully vaxxed and have been to the theater and been to the theater together.
Yeah.
We're comfortable with it. Sucks. It would suck to get the movie delayed again.
It would suck. It really would suck. And I'm not even super excited about this movie. This trailer made me more excited than I was before. I agree with you. I think watching this trailer, I went, okay, I'm in.
Yeah.
You know, before I was just like, it's MCU. I was in before this trailer, but now I'm kind of like into it. But yeah, it would suck if it was delayed, and it would suck not to see it in the theater. Like I miss going to the theater. That was one of the things I really missed over the pandemic. I went. My wife and son were away on vacation. I'm home by myself for a couple of days. I went to the theater just today, just to see something. It didn't matter. I just wanted to go to the theater.
What did you say?
I saw Free Guy, actually.
Dude,
Ryan Reynolds.
I'm assuming you liked it too then.
Oh, it was a lot of fun. I'm watching it going, it's just so much fun. I love Ryan Reynolds. Like, that's it. I love Ryan Reynolds. I love video games. All that together. It was just a lot of fun. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And I love being back in the theater.
So can we tie it in, by the way? All right, now that you've seen it, spoilers if you haven't seen Free Guy, but we're going to tie it into the show, even though I know we're supposed to be talking about Eternals right now. What about the Chris Evans cameo and the Avengers theme and the Shield and everything? There was Marvel stuff lined up right there and Star Wars.
That was awesome. I actually did want to bring it up, but I didn't know how.
No, let's go with it. We got it.
But yeah, no, there's this great scene where he's fighting himself, but like a jacked, dumb version of himself called the Dude. Because they wanted to create something that looked like him, so it would be popular but could take him down. He's blue shirt guy, and the Dude has my favorite line in the whole movie, where he goes, "Catchphrase." That's my favorite line in the whole movie.
It's awesome.
And then they're fighting, and he pulls out the Captain America shield to dodge from the blow, and then he cuts to Chris Evans going, like, what does he say? Like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, he says something like that. And the Avengers music plays and everything, and you're like, wow. So this was shot after the merger, obviously.
Obviously, yes, it was. And then, because then he also pulls up the Hulk, right? Like, his arm becomes the Hulk's arm, and he punches him. Like, I think Ryan Reynolds, I've posited this theory before, and people think I'm crazy, but I think Ryan Reynolds doesn't exist. I think Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool from an alternate dimension. Like, have you ever read the comic Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe?
Oh, yes, of course.
So you know how that ends with him escaping the Marvel Universe and killing, like, the writer? I think what happened is Deadpool went, I don't want to kill anyone. I just want to get outside and be famous. So Deadpool escaped the comic book pages and became Ryan Reynolds. And that's who I really think Ryan Reynolds is. Because he is fucking Deadpool in real life.
That's a pretty good that's pretty good analysis right there.
I'm just saying. And look at this movie. He's Deadpool in this movie. He's and I think I said to you too, like, because when last time we went to go see a movie, we saw a preview for this, and it was him. Like, it was the whole preview was him going, "This is how I bulked up to be that dude guy," and it was all CGI, obviously. And I just turned to Ed and I'm like, no one enjoys being famous like fucking Ryan Reynolds enjoys being famous.
Oh, absolutely. He's all about it. Him. Like The Rock, if you want to put him in there too. But Ryan Reynolds is on like a whole nother level of like insanity.
He's Deadpool. Thank you, Jonathan. I appreciate your backup for that.
Alex, I'm not sure. Did you see Free Guy? Because he says Free Guy is like a concept of Wreck-It Ralph and similar attitude of Lego Movie. I can see that, but I think more of like an adult version of it, because there's a lot of innuendo that's thrown around that's in there that's pretty damn funny, especially when they're talking about the coffee. constantly and how when he drinks the coffee. And you knew every time he changes, every time he sips the coffee, I thought it was absolutely hilarious. And I'm sure for a lot of younger fans, it probably just completely went over their head. But
I've actually never seen Wreck-It Ralph or the Lego Movie, so I couldn't
really
answer that. Yeah, I've never seen either of them.
Oh, dude, you got to get on those. I saw Wreck-It Ralph. I thought it was a lot of fun. I think you would dig it.
I probably would. Yeah, and Lego Movie, I've heard great things about.
Both Lego movies. The first one's a little bit better than the second one. Actually, I would say it's considerably better than the second one. The second one's still good. And dude, once you watch those, you got to watch Lego Batman.
I know, and that's Will Arnett as Batman. I love Will Arnett.
And Zach Galifianakis as the Joker.
Oh, that's pretty cool too.
And the Joker, and just without no spoilers, because it's said in like the first 5 minutes. Part of the premise is that the Joker's upset that Batman has other villains to fight, and he's like doesn't give his attention anymore.
That's actually a perfect Lego Batman.
That's what I'm saying. You really got to check those movies out, man. Like that's probably not something that would normally be my bag either, but I watched them and I think they're absolutely hilarious.
I got to check them out.
But yeah, so back for Eternals though. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I mean, the trailer did its job. It got me more excited for the film because we got to see a little bit more, not characters we're familiar with. But yeah, listen, in November I'll be there. I'll be excited once that Marvel Studios music hits and I see the whole thing coming. I'm going to be like super hyped up as always because I'm like, we're going to see a Marvel movie. They're probably going to give me something completely different than I've seen before, and I'm probably going to enjoy it. So yeah, kudos to it. And right, again, we're real simple.
I don't even need to like. I don't need to like these trailers. I don't normally watch these trailers. I just go, "Oh, the MCU's putting out a movie. I'll see it." Like that's kind of what I just do. I mean, and until the MCU starts churning out crap, because it's not just. I just want to make it clear. It's not just like, "Oh, I'll see anything." Like, I can be critical. I've been critical.
Yes.
I'm critical of DCEU at times because it's hit or miss with its stuff. But I just find that the MCU is, I would say, 98% hit. I mean, it has a couple of misses early on, but like there's such small misses.
Yeah, and we'll get into the MCU film now. I'm guessing that's probably going to be a 2022 thing because we just don't have time. We don't have time. We're not going to get to it anytime soon, but we absolutely will. But no, we'll have our time to lay into some stuff that the MCU has done. That we don't like. Oh, every movie is like, 10 out of 10. I mean, there's some that are lesser, but majority of the time you kind of enjoy it one way or the other, and you have fun with it. So,
as I always say, if I ever turned on cable and I had not much to do, and Thor: The Dark World was on, and other things were on that I were interested in, I'd probably watch Thor: The Dark World, and that's my least favorite of these movies. So, I mean, I think that says a lot.
Oh, it's fairly true. Listen, hashtag in Marvel we trust.
That's right.
Because again, you've earned our trust with over 20 movies now, and now shows and everything else. It's like, listen, your worst is still better than the best anyone else can turn out.
Exactly.
So, all right. Well, let's jump into some CW verse for the week.
All right.
DC's Legends of Tomorrow, episodes 12 and 13, because we did not get a chance to discuss last time because we were on a Sunday while the show was being aired. Jason, let's get to it.
All right, so episode 12 is the board game episode, which I was excited about because I love board games. Are you and Angie board game people?
So Angie is more than I am. She has 1,000 board games, and she likes to mostly get drinking games going.
Nice.
They'll usually be like those kind of things. I'll get into them. I'm a Trivial Pursuit person.
I like that.
But we also have a version where you can bet. You have chips, and you can bet to see if the person is right or wrong.
Wow!
And you take those chips, and you can buy pieces, like pie pieces. It's a whole nother fucking game, dude.
Wow! Yeah, that opens that game up to a completely different realm. That's pretty awesome.
And Angie will tell you firsthand. I bet against her every time.
Are you right usually?
Yes.
Well,
no, she'll be the first one to tell you that. Listen, she doesn't retain stuff, but she has. I've gotten wrong on sometimes. I'm not gonna say 100% of the time. I would, if it's a Harry Potter question or something like that. Then I'm like, yeah, she's probably got this one in the bag. So,
That's
but
fair.
yeah, you got the Clue episode of Legends of Tomorrow.
But yeah, no. So this is pretty much like they're all stuck on the ship, and so they decide to play a board game, which looks like Clue, and the actual game itself plays like a game called Werewolf Within, I think it is, where where like I've played a game very, very similar to called Secret Hitler, where pretty much like someone is the secret bad guy, and you have to figure out who it is, and they pick people off. And that's what this is. And of course, the bad guy in this is Constantine, because he's drinking blood to keep his magic up. And it's it's a fun episode. We get to see. I love that when Constantine uses magic to get them on the board and reveal Gary, who's the narrator, who's just stuck out there by himself. Like, no, they're counting on you, Gary. Like, I thought that was really fun. Then we get Kayla, which is Rory's baby mama, comes back from the dead. We thought she was dead. None of us thought she was dead, but we were supposed to. And she is pissed at Rory for leaving her. And who does she resurrect but Bishop? Which, of course, this actor, I really actually adore this character.
He's growing on me. I'm going to be honest. He's growing on me. I was kind of annoyed with him at first, but he's growing on me.
He's just so he's just so chill. He's like the evil Behrad. You know what I mean? Like that's who he reminds me of, because he's like Behrad but like evil.
Not stoned.
Yeah, maybe that's it. He's Behrad without the smoking. It's not good. It's always smoke. Yeah, and that's it. That's episode 12. Before I go on episode 13, did you have any comments about episode 12? Anything you want to bring up?
Not necessarily. I mean, I think it's a pretty straightforward, like Clue-like episode. There's some laughs played in there too. But I think the big reveal, like Jonathan was saying there, that they keep on furthering Constantine's like walk to the dark side, if you want to say, or something like that. Which I'm still. You'll get into episode 13 in a second, but I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I love Constantine, so I'm not so sure how I'm still struggling with that. But go ahead.
No, fair. That's fair. I also love Constantine, and so getting on to episode 13, the Silence of the Sonograms, it's called. Just a funny title.
Of course.
So, this whole thing is a metaphor for where Constantine's storyline is. This is a metaphor, an allegory for, like, drug withdrawal. Like, he is stopping to drink this blood. He's giving it up because Zari and Astra and Spooner, like, they figure out Spooner, he messed with her memory, and then Astra takes the flask and he gets super angry, and then he throws the flask away, and then you see Lamont, like a whole thing of him withdrawing, and it really looks like someone who's like a heroin addict doing withdrawal, like a scene from Train Spotting or something. And then it ends with Bishop, because Bishop was on the ship. Bishop gets put in prison. Bishop ingratiates himself to everyone. I'm going to talk about that in a second, because that's my favorite part. But it ends with Bishop sort of getting John Constantine to work with him to get his magic back, because he's the weakest of them. So I think they're trying to exploit. They talked about the whole, like, I'm an ex-smoker, I'm an ex-magic user. I think they're trying to hit home that, like, addiction quality with him. I don't know if I think it works, but I think it's interesting.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm kind of at with it too. That I agree. In episode 13, you can see a lot of what they're going for with this whole thing. Magic being, you want to say, drugs or alcohol or whatever your vices. Bishop using that to his advantage. Curious to see where that goes. I know Jonathan was mentioning that he believes Constantine might end up being the big bad of this season.
Might be.
Certainly possible, because there's now evil Constantine apparently, and regular Constantine. I don't know if they will get a mirror match at some point, like Mortal Kombat style. Even though we kind of did a little bit, there was a little bit, but like bad Constantine beat the piss out of him.
Yes. Very, very handily.
Yeah, pretty easily. But then Jonathan's also saying, I think he will be redeemed in the end, though. Yeah, I hope so. If that's the route they're going to go, Jonathan, if you did nail it here, I'm hoping he's redeemed in the end. Because I also know there was a story that leaked out a couple of weeks ago where they were saying that they are going to pretty much retire the Constantine character at the end of the season. But Matt Ryan is staying on to play another character moving forward, which it seems like that happens a lot on Legends, where actors stay on and they retire their first character and they go to a second. But
Zari did.
Zari did. Oh man, the girl who was Vixen before. I forgot her name on the show. They got her from the JSA like in season 2 or 3. It goes way back. It's like Nate's first girlfriend. She had the totem and everything like that, and she would turn into animals and shit.
That's right. She was on it till just last season because she was...
Yeah, but then she played as a different character completely the second time around.
She does. Last season she plays, someone completely different.
Amari. There you go. Thank you, Jonathan.
Thanks, Jonathan.
You're always there when it's on the tip of our tongue and we can't quite get there. So that's why I'm just kind of... But man, Matt Ryan is Constantine, dude. Like, every time I see this guy, I'm like, he voices him in the animated shit. He's live action. Like, he's not even Matt Ryan. He's fucking Constantine.
I agree. I mean, look, I'll roll with it. I'll see where it goes. I think I trust this show, but it's going to be hard to see him as anything but Constantine. Because you're right. I agree with you. That is who he is for me.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes. But I did enjoy these last 2 episodes as well. I'm just the Constantine thing. I'm struggling with back and forth. Yeah. I'm like, come on, just do right by this guy since I know he's getting retired.
I go back and forth too. The same with him. But other things about this episode that I liked was I think the woman who plays Ava was a standout in this episode. Yeah, I think her acting really was amazing. And the interaction she has with Bishop about them trying to manipulate each other. And for those who don't remember, like, Bishop is the guy who created the Ava clone series. And so he's really trying to get in her head. And there's this wonderful moment where he does get in her head and she comes out. She has this panic attack. And it's like, well, my family was never real. No one ever cared about me. How can I possibly care about our family? And I just thought that was such a... Or she doesn't know, not how can I possibly, she doesn't know how to care for her family. And I thought that was such a powerful moment. And I thought it was so well written. And so I really love that. And then they have a funny line, Destiny is so last season, that Lance says to Bishop as they're fighting when he talks about Destiny, and because last season was all about the loom of fate. And so again, I think all in all, these 2 were real fun episodes, and we got some interesting stuff coming up on Legends.
Yeah, and I think they only have a couple episodes left, so it is definitely winding down. It's got to be like 2 or 3 episodes left. It can't be too much. So Jonathan's throwing out an interesting question here. Let's see what we think about this one.
All right.
Maybe he'll be another Earth's Constantine.
I mean, I'm unclear. Like, did they destroy the multiverse or not? Like,
so the way that they explained that at the end of Crisis, I was a little bit confused with, because they supposedly they made Earth Prime, which is where all the shows take place, but not really, because Stargirl is on another Earth. So they acknowledged at the end that Stargirl has her own Earth, Doom Patrol and Titans have their own Earth, because they acknowledged them.
Right.
And they acknowledged the Green Lantern, the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern Earth, for whatever reason that was. Which they did. Dude, you saw it more recently than me. I thought it was actually pretty funny.
I thought that was actually kind of funny. I try to block it out.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I would assume that means they're going to do something with it at some point, but I don't. That's pretty ballsy. It's like, bold move, Cotton. We'll see where that one works out. Oh, man. All right, so let's go ahead, and it's a show we didn't get to talk about last week, was the Superman and Lois season 1 finale. There's not a lot to break down in the episode besides some major plot points that happen, because most of it is what you want out of a season finale. There's a lot of, there's a huge battle, there's a lot of punching, there's a lot of things like that. Good guys went over, we get that. But I think the other stuff that's there is By the way, I noticed in this episode, especially when they're having that like barbecue where everyone's jolly and happy, I feel like there was a ton of like Americana shots.
Oh yeah, you're right.
It was almost like a Ford commercial or something like that. It was just like, which I'm not complaining about, but I don't know why I got caught up on it. It was just like there's there's a barbecue and there's ribs and there's like beer and there's like fireworks and let's go. And I'm like, dude, I want to be at that party. It's pretty cool, but I was just like, okay, whatever,
Happy 4th
man.
of July, everyone.
I mean, exactly. So I felt like I was in someone's 4th of July party, I guess. But I think the interesting things in the episode is Jor-El gets buried at the end. Like Clark takes the crystals, cool. And I thought that was pretty cool. So they're kind of like essentially retiring that portion in a way. And then at the end, John Henry Irons' daughter shows up out of a ship and is like, "What the fuck?"
Yep.
Yeah, because he's kind of like, I'm sorry, go.
No. Go ahead, please.
No, so it's just kind of like, holy shit, where the hell did that come from? But then leading up to that, though, John Henry Irons is thinking about leaving. Like, he's going to go off. He's not going to keep hanging out in the Kent, barn and kind of like building shit up right there. Because he admits, he's like, listen, seeing this Lois that, I know you're not her, but seeing you on a daily basis with somebody else and everything like that, it's a lot.
Yeah.
And he separated the two.
I really like that moment too. And I really like that in that moment, it's not about, like it used to be about, I don't trust Superman.
Yeah.
Right? But it's not about that. He trusts Superman. He trusts Clark. He knows now, right? Like this is not the guy who destroyed his planet and killed his wife. But now it's more personal because now it's like, well, the job is done and the day is saved. And I still have to watch what feels like my wife living with someone else. Like, so I actually, and this again, why I like this show is these small little human moments. I love that. And I love when his daughter comes out. I didn't see it coming. And what I loved about it was when she like looks at Lois, because it's like, what the fuck she knows? She doesn't know. She just got here. This is going to be really complicated when we pick up in season 2.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's going to be extremely complicated. So we'll see where that takes us. But I mean, overall, I think to put a bow on the first season of Superman and Lois, it's the best CW verse show around. It is. I mean, they knocked it, for me personally, in my opinion, they knocked it out of the park, man. I mean, and that includes Arrow in its heyday. That includes Flash in its heyday. I'm going to throw those in there. I actually enjoyed Superman and Lois's first season even more. And it's hard to say that a little bit because, man, when Arrow landed, man, it was unbelievable. I adored that show. Flash, the same thing. I mean, I know they like both soured eventually, and fingers crossed this show doesn't do that. Because it seems like all the CW shows, most of them get up to really, really strong starts and then kind of like fade over time. Legends got better over time.
Yes,
that's the only one where I think it actually got better because the first season of Legends is nothing to write home about.
It's fine. Like I kind of got bored with it.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it was Randall Savage kicking her ass all the time.
Yeah, exactly, for 22 episodes. But I agree. I think this first season for me, I would put it on par with the first season of Black Lightning, which I think is a phenomenal first season, which I've talked about nonstop when I was doing my Black Lightning rewatch. I thought that was the best season the CW has given us. Just, and it's not about like me gushing over characters because I don't know the character of Black Lightning. It's more about just artistically what was going on. And I think this is that for me. And the thing is, like Black Lightning, I didn't know him. I know Superman. I kind of was biased against him. I've said that I'm not a big Superman fan, but again, this show has made me interested in Superman, and I think that the fact that it does that, it's probably the most gripping of the CW shows for sure, for me anyway, because it's making me like a character I didn't care about.
Yeah, and I didn't know much about Green Arrow or Black Lightning before their show started, and I think their shows are really strong. I'm not trying to, when I say that Superman and Lois I think is the best CW show to date, I'm not poo-pooing on them at all because man, those first couple of seasons of Arrow were tremendous. Same thing with Flash.
Agreed.
I really enjoyed all 4 seasons of Black Lightning. So I mean that was really, really strong too. Her seasons of Supergirl very strong as well. But if I had to pick one, I'm gonna go with Superman and Lois because, like you said, I mean Henry Cavill's made me warm up to Superman because I enjoy his interpretation, but this show has superseded that for me. It's made me like a character that I've kind of like made fun of for a long time because I couldn't really get on board with him that much. And also his previous incarnation of Superman prior to getting his own show was really cool at first and then became a jobber for Supergirl. So there was that to overcome as well, because you're giving me the same actor on the same network to overcome, and you did that. You overcame everything to make me love the show. So I'm dying to see where the heck this thing goes, next season.
Yeah, same here. Same here. I hope they continue to take it in the direction that it's going. And again, I've always said this doesn't feel like a regular CW show, and I hope they continue to sort of push into that. Like, feels like I know it's not taking place in its own universe, but it feels that way. And we've talked about it. I'm okay with them bringing in John Cryer as Lex Luthor, but outside of that, I'm hoping that they leave this sort of as its own thing.
Yeah, I can see that. And there's also something that popped up. A story popped up a couple of hours before we went on tonight. Was Flash for season 8 is going to start off with a 5-episode arc. That's essentially going to be a crossover, and they're bringing back Black Lightning is going to be on it. He's going to be part of this crazy crossover. Pretty awesome that we're going to see Chris Williams again. We're going to see Mia Queen also, who I didn't expect to see her ever again. We're going to see somebody from Arrow, but there's not going to be any Superman and Lois characters involved in this.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with it, but there was a part of me that wants to see this rejuvenated Tyler Hodgkin Superman now jump back in with these guys and like be Superman. Like, now I'm fucking front and center, man. Like, this is it. Like, I don't have to be pushed off to the side anymore. But I'm sure we'll get that over sometime. I don't mind them peppering in very carefully when Superman and Lois crosses over with the others. I agree. Let it maybe keep on doing its own thing. It was completely different than the other show. Obviously, has a much higher budget. I mean, this and Stargirl have clearly a higher budget than the other CW shows.
Clearly,
no question about it. But yeah, we'll see where that takes us. Can't wait for season 2. But the other higher budget show on CW, Stargirl season 2, episodes 2 and 3. Was digging. He's kind of curious to see where it is. So episode 2, to hash that up pretty quickly, the main focus is on Green Lantern's daughter. Like, that's the thing. And I think the biggest takeaway of that is it's Alan Scott, Green Lantern. We actually get to find out whose daughter it is, because we didn't know, who was it? Jon Stewart? Are we talking about here, or who are we talking about? Are we talking, And then we get that, and I think that's a pretty interesting choice because this show does very much take, like you mentioned it last week, Jason. It's like the golden age of DC.
Right. Like, it's not the Flash is not Barry Allen. Green Lantern is not. Blanking on his fucking name. Sorry, but it's not the Green.
No, it's not Hal Jordan. It's not Jon Stewart.
Thank you. Exactly. Yeah. Jon Stewart, I knew, but I couldn't think Hal Jordan. Yeah, they like that's watching this show. It feels like I'm watching a rebooted, like a reboot of old timey comic books, which is why I kind of like the show, and that's what it does with the Green Lantern here. And it addresses something you brought up too, Ed. Was last week you had said, well, as far as we know, the ring chooses you, and that hasn't, that's not different. And we find out we don't know why the ring chose her or what's going with the ring, but they do point out. Stripesy says, wait, the ring was charged this whole time? Because from what I understand, it has to be charged by the Lantern every 24 hours. And I think that was a seed that's going to pay off in the future, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Jonathan saying it's Golden Age Earth.
Golden Age. Okay, yeah, that's because it's the Golden Age of DC Comics.
Yeah, exactly.
Golden Age of comics, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess that's what we can refer to Stargirl's Earth as, even though it's very much they have cell phones and there's social media and things of that nature. So it's an interesting combination. They strike an interesting balance because everyone's driving like 50s cars and stuff like that. And, the whole Blue Valley seems like it's 40 years behind the rest of the world. But at times, in certain things, mainly just style-wise, like stylistically, it seems like that's the case. But yeah, so that. I think that was the big takeaway from episode 2. Plus, we get introduced to the Shade, who is a big JSA villain that's there, and then we that carries over to the next week, where in the latest episode, which was on last night, we get a Thunderbolt introduction. He pops out of this pen, and apparently it's so cool when that's the magic word. And then Dugan's kid, is it not Jimmy Dugan? It's Mike Dugan. Gets the pen, and he apparently has Thunderbolt, and we learn a little bit about Thunderbolt being unpredictable and kind of like he gets to grant wishes, but you have to be extremely literal.
Yeah,
like when he tells them that scene where he's going ahead and like telling them, "Oh, you should make them stop," and the stop signs start dropping all around them. Dude, I was starting to wonder if this was like gonna stab one of them or some shit like that.
Right? And he's like, "Okay, you made your point." He's like, "No, I can't until they actually stop." I thought that was cool. I love that Stripes. He says, I'm not going to say it's like the monkey's paw, but I mean, it's like that. And someone's like, what does the monkey's paw have to do with it? Because they didn't get the reference. Yeah, exactly. I love that.
Yeah, that was a pretty good one. But then we learn more about that apparently the Shade killed Dr. Midnight. So that was something that I thought was very interesting to find out, and they show a short clip on how that happened, and so that hits home with the current Dr. Midnight, and she's still dealing with not having Chuck and everything like that. But that was interesting. The lines where Our Man was like, they were like, "Oh yeah, you were." He was like, "Oh yeah, I was feeding the dog" or something like that. Like, because we know he's going ahead and helping. Yeah. You believe, you had thrown out there to believe it's Solomon Grundy that he's there helping out with. So we still don't 100% know exactly what it is.
But I kind of like that. Again, I think it's cool that I'm curious if what they're setting up is that Solomon Grundy kind of joins them because, Solomon Grundy, from what I understand in the comic, he's not like evil. He's just brainless. Like he's a tool to be used by someone who knows how to control him, and that's obviously what was going on here in that first season. So I'm kind of curious if he's befriending him and like he's going to join or not join the JSA, but like help them at some point.
Yeah, I can see that definitely happening. Him being some of the muscle. Let's say, even though they have Strike, who they have not used yet, because he's a massive robot, and they allude to that at one point when they're going to go after the Shade. Well, maybe we don't want to bring Stripe because he's a fucking tank, essentially.
Although I think the best part, one of these best parts for me in the last episode is Dugan, Pat Dugan's got Zeke helping him out because they took on a partnership, and Zeke like found the robot. And he's like, "Well, sometimes a man just needs to build a robot, but I'm going to help you build it." And then he comes in, he's like, "Well, I've put some flamethrowers on it." Like, I love that he asks no questions, and he's just making it more of a tank. I just found that hysterical.
It's spectacular. I actually hope this guy Zeke hangs around and just keeps on doing shit like that.
Me too.
But then, and we also get Shade versus the JSA, and that because he basically fights them and kicks the crap out of them.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to.
No, he doesn't want to at all. He warns them and tries to tell them, "Hey, leave me alone. Like, stand down." He even tells Stripesy at one point, "Do you not treat these kids manners? They're coming here to fuck me up, pretty much."
Right. And we technically haven't seen him do anything evil yet.
No,
and
not
I
yet.
think, and then when this episode ends, it ends after he kind of like has defeated them and leaves, and something else is coming, right? And he's
Eclipso.
Like, "Oh, Eclipso, right? Yeah, that's it, Eclipso." And he's like, "Oh, he's gonna kill them," and he kind of looks sad about that. Like, I don't think this is a villain. I think like this guy was a villain because he has that line like, "Our interests," when he worked with the ISA, "our interests were aligned briefly, but I never really got into what they were into. Such and such was a maniac, such and such was a narcissist," or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so I would not be surprised if the twist is he's not a villain. He worked with the ISA briefly. I'm sure, like, I think they're going to somehow figure out a way to gloss over, or maybe he didn't kill Dr. Midnight. They've got wrong information, but I think he's going to be an ally.
Yeah, I'm curious to see where they play with it. I don't know anything about this Eclipso that popped up because at the end of the episode, the Goggles Chuck comes back briefly and is like warning them about Eclipso. And they're just like, wait, what the hell just happened?
Well, Eclipso's the guy with the rock, right? Because like a big thing in that last episode was Dr. Dragon. I forget the guy's name, but it's like the doctor who
Lizard King.
The daughter. Lizard King. Like his daughter who pretty much is now in charge of the ISA has this rock that she looks through and that can enchant people, and it enchants her stepmother and convinces her stepmother to try to kill her so it can kill her, like so it can then put her to death to get her power. And so I think that might be Eclipso. I think Eclipso is whatever the hell is in that rock.
No, that's a good guess right there. All right, so we'll see what happens with Stargirl next week. And our last CW show of this episode will be the return of Supergirl. We got episode 8 back, the second half of the final season of Supergirl. So I'm assuming it'll be 14 episodes since this was the midway point. They slid right back into Superman and Lois's spot. Jason, Supergirl?
We're out of the Phantom Zone. That's something, right? That is something. I'm gonna give this episode. This is not an exciting episode. I didn't hate it. I just wasn't interested in it. I think I'm gonna give it some credit and say that they've got to now figure out what they're doing for the rest of the season. But it's a lot of like, we're going to throw Kara a party because she's back. And there's a fun scene in the beginning where Brainy is like getting the cake and he's trying to avoid people. That was fun. But like the whole episode is her dad is with her from the Phantom Zone, and he sees that the pollution of our planet, in particular our oceans, is reaching what Krypton had. And so he has this robot that he sends down to pick up all the pollution. Then it becomes a monster and they have to stop it. Like, that was pretty much it.
There's a trash monster, by the way, who they named Oscar after Oscar the Grouch because her father is... That I thought was actually kind of funny in a way. It actually became an actual garbage monster.
You are right. That was fun. He calls it Oscar for Oscar the Grouch because he binge watches Sesame Street to understand our culture. That was pretty funny. It does become a literal garbage monster, and Supergirl throws the literal garbage monster into the sun. And I think the big thing that this episode is trying to hit home is Supergirl is not over what happened in the Phantom Zone. She's kind of got PTSD from it. She's having flashbacks. As Kara... what's her face? What's her real name?
Kara Zor-El?
No, her
Kara Danvers.
Thank you. As Kara Danvers, I couldn't remember it. As Kara Danvers, the reporter, she's asked to she kind of comes back and it's like, "Hey, where have you been for 6 months?" "Oh, I've been doing a story." "Where's that story?" "Oh, it didn't happen." "All right, no biggie. You got to cover the Phantom Zone and the zombies and the such." And then so that happens, and then Kara's like, and she has like panic attacks and the stuff. So I think that's what they set up for. But I don't know where this is going. This wasn't a very exciting episode. I don't really get what it's setting up. We don't have many of this show left, and I just kind of hope it gets better. That's my takeaway from this.
Yeah, I mean, I thought there was some fun references in it, but I think overall the episode was better than the crap that we were getting in the first half of the regular season. But I mean,
agreed.
I'll agree that it's not, phenomenal by any stretch. There's a Phantom Menace zinger that happens earlier in the episode where she's talking about Phantom. I never want to see Phantom this or Phantom that, or of the opera, or
that
of the or in the prequels. And she's like, "Yeah, you definitely don't want to see that." And I was like, "Zing." There's a part where they're in CatGo talking about the top 10 news outlets because they're ranked number 8. I thought it was just a little interesting thing that the Gotham Gazette was ahead, and the Daily Planet, and the Star City Sentinel, and the Citizen from Central City. So they acknowledged multiverse stuff. It's not multiverse stuff now. They're all on Earth Prime, so it all makes sense. But those were cool little tie-ins. that we don't get in other things, because one of my issues with the episode is Kalex, who Kara's father goes out and they go to the Fortress of Solitude. There's a Kalex there who he turns into Oscar. So this is the same Fortress of Solitude that is supposed to be in Superman and Lois. Kalex, never seen in Superman and Lois. Ever. Just a little weird thing that I was like...
Never seen in this. Like, there should be some... If it's almost as if it's like, okay, we're going to have the odd couple, except Oscar's going to have his own show, Felix are going to have their own show, but they still share the same apartments. But you never see the other on the other show. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, like they used to. I mean, that's where this Superman was introduced. So it's not like you can't have him pop in at some point and just acknowledge it. It doesn't have to take a lot. They do acknowledge Kal-El briefly, but again, it's the Fortress of Solitude that starts making things a little bit weird that they're going there and stuff. So that kind of annoyed me. How many S shirts, by the way? How many shirts with the House of L does her father have? I swear the guy goes for like 3 or 4 of them in this episode. Do you have a wardrobe there or something? There's a red one, there's a blue one, there's like a black one or whatever. I'm just like,
look, in all fairness, he had a lot of time on the Phantom Zone. He became a very good sort of stitcher and sewer, and he sewed a lot of his own costumes. He was look, he didn't even bring his David Bowie line with him, where it was like Ziggy Stardust with the S, and
Well, that's fair. Even though Alex Danvers still is going with her David Bowie shit. Drives me bonkers, Jason. Bonkers every time I fucking see that. I can't stand it.
I thought about you today when I was watching it, and she put her hood up, and I went, and he's going to be pissed off.
I'm like, oh my gosh, stop suiting up, man. It's awful. It's so bad. One part I did think was cool, though, that, I don't know, the head person in Catco, names escape my mind right now. She's like, hey, listen, we got to start covering. We made Supergirl who she is. She has a team now. She thought bigger and everything like that. And they dubbed them like the Super Friends. There's a Super Friends reference that's made there. So I'm like, if that's going to be a common thing, I think that's actually kind of funny. And they also reference Kara and Alex are having a conversation talking about PTSD at the end of the episode and Kara's apartment. And they do reference an article from that Iris West wrote that she was reading, and that is a part of the previous season of The Flash.
That is cool.
So I thought that was a pretty cool tie-in there.
The tie-ins are cool. The connectivity is cool. It's not the worst episode. It's just I've seen this show at its best, and
this is not it.
This is not it, and it's not its worst either. I'm hoping that they find footing because I don't know where they're going. I guess that's my point. I don't know where they're going, and they only have a half a season left to end it up.
Yeah, I 100% agree. So, all right, let's get to some more Marvel stuff. Since we're started with Marvel, going back to DC, now we're back to Marvel. And I think for that Marvel stuff, because we got What If that's going on here. So we'll talk about What If from last week, because we didn't get a chance to talk about What If T'Challa became a Star-Lord. But we do have a guest joining us tonight. We got Tim Tabala.
What's going on?
What's up, dude?
Chilling, man, chilling.
No, you don't have the sunglasses tonight that I can't bust your chops for?
No sunglasses tonight.
I was giving him the John Goodman Big Lebowski sunglasses.
like five people have said it, so I'm just gonna roll with it. I'm not gonna get upset by it.
Just roll with it, dude. Just love it.
I gotta go with it. When a stranger comes up to you in a bar and says, "You look like John," I said, "All right, I'm digging it. I'm digging it." Okay.
Just bring in a suitcase with the whites.
That's it. Just tell everyone, shut the fuck up down everywhere I go. That's all I'll do from now on.
Exactly. Oh boy. All right. So let's get into What If, man. We'll talk about last week's episode and we'll jump into this week's. Last week's was T'Challa became a Star-Lord. So pretty much the premise is if they went ahead and the Ravagers went to the planet Earth to get Ego's son, and they ended up snatching up T'Challa instead of Peter Quill. And then this is, for me, this episode hit home too, because it's like we know Chadwick passed away, and this is his last project he worked on. So kind of made you a little sad, but at the same time, it was a lot of fun. I mean, do you guys think it was like I saw people writing online? You kind of feel like this was them like dunking on or shitting on Quill most of the episode because pretty much if T'Challa was Star-Lord, the universe would be a much better place.
Yeah, it seemed like that a little bit. He completely turned around the Ravagers. He completely turned around Thanos. He completely turned around. It was a little crazy. I don't think it was shitting on Star-Lord. I think that was more of a tribute to Boseman and T'Challa more often.
Yeah, that's kind of what I took it as. I didn't think it was shitting on him.
Same here. I didn't think it was shitting on Star-Lord. It's like I think if any of us are plucked out and put into Star-Lord's situation, we are Star-Lord. We do what he does. Unless you're fucking T'Challa, then you're better than the rest of us. And you broker peace everywhere you go, and you somehow convince Thanos that the snap is a bad idea, which is my only issue with this episode.
I love that, dude. That shit had me laughing, especially when they kept fucking with him about Captain Genocide or whatever. Because they do make it a joke.
Them fucking with him is great. And to be honest, like it's not like I think it works for this. I think it's great. It's hysterical. But it was the one thing that I watched and I went, I don't know if that would really happen just because T'Challa took over Star-Lord. That was it. That was just the geek in me going, I don't know. Let me be the comic book guy.
And I thought the opening fight, which we know was a fight between, character's name who ends up joining the Ravagers eventually. When he goes to get the Power Stone.
I forgot his name too already.
Yeah, they get into a fight, but he's just like, because we know in the original version it's like Star-Lord? Like, who? And then this is like, oh, Star-Lord, I'm a huge fan. I love you. Like, do we get to fight now? Are we going to spar and everything? This is like one of the greatest honors of my life.
And I love that he takes him with him. Like, all right, we'll hire him. Throw him over the shoulder.
Yeah, let's go.
And I love that Yondu was there.
Yeah.
No, I love that Yondu was there. I thought, like, to see what would happen if Yondu had a different outcome, I thought was super cool.
Yeah.
No, I think Thanos stole the episode. He had me laughing every time because even though he's like a good guy, he kept saying, I don't know, I think it'd work.
Yeah, exactly. He was like, that's totally
he turned good, but he wasn't. He's like, I don't know. I kind of think my idea would still work. So I dug that through the whole episode. I was cracking up at that. I thought he stole it. Him and Howard the Duck stole the episode.
Howard the Duck was awesome. It's not genocide because the people who were killed are random.
Yeah,
so it's okay.
That's his argument.
It's random. That's exactly it. And he expected someone to go, "Oh, okay, no,
so right."
Yeah, and then they ended up fighting because there's a power vacuum apparently. Because I know Thanos explains it that when he went straight, the Collective jumped in, and he was there, and he ends up becoming essentially a big bad that's there, and they're fighting him. And his whole collection that's there, and they end up rescuing Cosmo the space dog at the end of the episode, which I thought was cool because we saw him briefly in Guardians of the Galaxy in the first one. So, and then I'm trying to think of what any other takeaways. It was nice to see a lot of the original actors come back and actually lend their voices to this episode too. I mean, you got Josh Brolin to be Thanos.
Yeah, Michael Rooker. They all did their job. It was great.
Yeah, and even
actually, Michael Rooker coming back was the happiest.
Sean Gunn too.
Like Sean Gunn, yeah, he's also like and because it was this cast, it was the Guardians cast. Like that was Drax, right? Was that what's his face who plays Drax?
I don't think it was Dave Bautista. No, that wasn't Bautista. But he did a good impersonation.
Yeah, I didn't see his name in the credits.
I didn't look.
And the tribute at the end was real nice to Chadwick Boseman. That was real nice. That was good.
And what happens with Drax also, I think, is actually a really funny part of the episode too. And they're gonna go take a selfie together, and he's telling him, literally how horrible you look. No, please, I insist. Please take another picture. It's really bad. Like you need to do this.
And he wants to send it to his wife and his daughter, who are alive, because
who are alive.
Thanos didn't kill them.
Thanos was. Yep. I love this episode. This is my favorite out of the three so far. Because remember how I said last week that, like, well, okay, they played it safe with Captain Carter, but I want to see them go crazy, and they're going crazy. This is and like, even if I don't like everything they do, they're going crazy and they're trying it. I'm all for all the chances they take. So this so far is my favorite of them. And then when T'Challa gets brought back at the end, right, when you find out, like, no, like, Yondu just kind of lied and said that his people were destroyed because he wanted him as a son. And there's this beautiful moment at the end where, like, T'Challa's father's like, well, what happened? He's like, well, he helped me. Like, he doesn't get Yondu in trouble. He's like, no. This all made me grow. All of this helped me. I just think it was a great episode. And it was a great tribute to Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah, it was pretty much like, T'Challa just showing how much of a good-hearted person, he is and everything like that, and made everyone better and the people around them. And I thought it was interesting, too, because I was wondering throughout the episode, so what happened with Ego and him wanting his son back? And then at the end, which Kurt Russell did it.
I see it.
Kurt Russell did come back to do voice Ego, which I thought was fantastic. He shows up at a fucking Dairy Queen where Quill is mopping the floor and pretty much is like, hey, I'm here, And the Watcher had a great line just pretty much saying, yeah, this is probably going to lead to the end of the universe and something like that.
Yeah.
But that's for another time.
Yeah, that was good, too.
Yeah, that was good.
So I guess we knocked that one out. Let's talk about the one that dropped today, which I'm going to put up our spoiler label on the bottom because it is the day that it dropped. I had some trouble falling back to sleep last night, and I ended up watching this thing at like 4 o'clock in the morning and then going back to bed.
Wow.
And then,
did you wake up with the Marvel music in your head again?
Not this time. Usually that I remember I told you last time. No, not this time. I wasn't like jonesing that I had to do it. That's why I couldn't fall back to sleep. I was just like, I'm kind of awake. Let me go knock this thing out. They're only like a half an hour. But I checked it out again before we came on, and this episode, I like this one a lot more than I thought I was going to. I wasn't sure what the premise was, and it was pretty fucking cool, dude.
I agree 100%. This actually was my favorite episode.
Okay.
I thought it was great, and I tell you what, I know it's like the artistic nerd part, but the shot of there was 2 shots, but the shots of the Watcher in the background when Coulson, I was like, that is so fucking 80s comic book right there. Yeah. I absolutely love that shit, especially the one in the desert with Coulson is driving with the coffee. I was like, that is cool as shit. That's like, to me, that's comic book right there. Yeah. So that was like my favorite shot of the whole show. But no, this one absolutely was my favorite so far. I love the way, it was a good murder mystery type show. And how he got rid of the Hulk was, spoiler again. Wow. I was like, holy shit. I couldn't believe what they did. I kind of figured out who it was kind of fast, but
did you?
I did. I did only because I figured when I figured out when Hawkeye, the thing, because he said something made him let go. I'm like, well, that's something. That's probably little. I thought maybe it was Scott. I didn't really think it was Hank. I thought maybe it was Scott or something. But later on you find out it was Hank, and yeah, it was pretty cool. This is definitely my favorite episode, though. I like seeing what happens when all the Avengers are getting plucked off one by one. But can an arrow kill Thor?
So it's funny you say that because Angie said the same thing to me because she was watching it. She didn't get to watch it with me the first 2 times I watched it. Thankfully, she was sleeping the first time. The third time, though. Yes, because remember when he went to Earth, he was human. Remember he got stripped. Odin stripped away his powers when he first got to Earth. So in that scene in the first Thor, exactly, to get his power back. Because remember, he was deemed not worthy at the time.
But he could still beat up 30 guys with no problem.
Yeah, I mean, he has fight training. I mean, he did fight frost giants and shit like that. So I can buy that.
Okay, I'll go.
I questioned it too. At 4 something in the morning, I saw that. I'm like, an arrow killing Thor, really?
What if the world lost its mightiest heroes, but Thor put up a fight? That's the subcaption.
There you go. So I thought it's really cool. We're not going to go scene by scene with this thing, but the episode picks up in an interesting way because pretty much this whole story takes place through Fury's big week, because that's what they've always referred to as Iron Man 2, The Incredible Hulk, and Thor, and there's a Marvel one-shot that's about Coulson that I'm pretty sure it's actually called like Fury's big week. No, something happened on the way to New Mexico is what the one-shot's called.
Yeah, a funny thing happened on the way to New Mexico.
Yeah. So this pretty much just re-envisions that if somebody was picking off the Avengers before they became the Avengers. And like Tim had said, we find that eventually it's Hank Pym, and he's pissed because Hope Van Dyne, his daughter, died as an agent.
As Yellow Jacket.
Yeah, as Yellow Jacket too, which I thought was interesting.
I love that he's Yellow Jacket. It was a great choice. And this really could have been called "What If Hope Van Dyne Was Killed by S.H.I.E.L.D.?" And what I like about that this could have had an alternate title is so many of those what if comics that I read as a kid, like really if you read it go, well, the what if wasn't what the title was. The what if really was this other thing. Because if this was called What If Hope Van Dyne Was Killed, everyone would go, the fuck's Hope Van Dyne? Who cares? Right? But anyway, so I just want to applaud this show for feeling like a what if comic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think these last two definitely felt a little bit more like it, even though I liked the first episode. But I agree with you guys. I think 2 and 3 picked up a bit more. But it picks up in Iron Man 2, where Tony's there at the top of the donut shop and is pretty much hungover, and they go ahead and inject him with it was supposed to be what ends up curing him, but it ends up killing him, and fucking Tony Stark is dead in 2 seconds. He has like 2 lines, and that's pretty much it. Yeah. Black Widow gets blamed for it and is in custody. After that, she goes ahead and gets broken out. She's working with Fury. Clint Barton ends up going ahead and gets framed from killing Thor, as we talked about in his scene, because they cut to the first Thor movie when he's about to go get the Mjolnir back, and he's taking out the guards just like he usually did before, and then Clint is there waiting, and then Hank causes him to slip and then fire and fucking kill Thor, and they're like, holy shit, the Avengers are fucking going one by one. What did you guys think of Agent Coulson's whole thing with Thor's hair and looks and everything like that? I thought it was hilarious.
That was hysterical. All of them too. Oh, he really does have nice hair. And Coulson's password, Captain, whatever, love, Captain. I was like, oh my God, that's fantastic. Yeah, the hair thing was great. What did he call him?
What was the line?
Fury said something to him, like a Swedish, what do you call him? Like a Swedish model or something kind of.
Well, Fury calls him a Chippendales dancer.
Chippendale dancer. I was dying with that too. I was like, wow, that's great. They're really hulking on. I think that's shots at Chris Hemsworth, though. I think that's like private Chris Hemsworth stuff that they're throwing in there. So I think that's great. But let me reiterate one thing though. When Widow was fighting, I thought that was Ghost. That's why I had a feeling it was either Scott or I didn't really know it was Hank. I thought it was Scott for some reason working with Ghost. Okay. So to find out that it wasn't, that's why I kind of figured it out quickly. But yeah, I kind of for some reason I had that Ghost feeling that she was going to be in there. They were going to throw her in there for some reason, but I was wrong about that. But still, but yeah, the Storm stuff was great. Everything about his hair and the Chippendale dancer, that was fantastic stuff. All shots at Chris.
Wasn't there a line?
I guarantee it.
Wasn't there a line too that even Daddy smells like lilacs or something like that? Like
lavender.
Lavender. Like, even though he's rotting, that's
it. Yeah.
Even though he's rotting, he still smells like
lavender. Yeah, which I thought that was a great line.
Yeah, and we know Chris Hemsworth is coming back to voice Thor in one of these episodes, if not more. But I mean, Thor doesn't have any lines in this episode. He literally gets killed before he can say anything.
What do you guys think of Loki in this episode?
I thought Loki was interesting. He's coming back to get revenge for his brother on the Earth. Brings a fucking army with him and Lady Sif. He wasn't fucking around, man.
But this also takes place during Thor 1, which means we know that Anthony Hopkins, Odin, is already in his coma, whatever it is, and we know that Loki is trying to take over. So I love that Loki kind of uses his brother's death to come and because he's looking to take over his throne, and then he gets here and he goes, oh well, all right, I'm your leader now, I'm in charge. And I think that's exactly what Loki from Thor 1 would have done in this situation. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, it was cool.
But then simultaneously, as Loki shows up, they also, I thought this was really cool, and it jumped into another what if, because they go into the first Incredible Hulk, that scene at the campus and everything like that. Because Black Widow goes to Betty Ross, they're talking, and then we find out, that scene where Ed Norton, Bruce Banner, sneaks in as the pizza guy and everything like that, which he also pays off Peter Parker's now teacher at that time. We find out when he was a student at Culver, that's what he was doing. But it's Mark Ruffalo.
Funny.
It's what if Mark Ruffalo was in the Incredible Hulk?
Yep.
Which is pretty awesome.
Which is pretty awesome because Ruffalo did it himself.
Yep, that was good.
I thought that was cool. But then, dude, Pym blows up the Hulk's heart.
That's why I said that was crazy.
I didn't expect that.
I was like, what are they going to do with the Hulk? How are they going to do it? And then all of a sudden you see him. I was like, no way. And I was like, oh, shit, he exploded. As much as I love the Hulk, I thought that was great. I thought it was cool.
Bananas.
It was like, I can't die. He can't die. He's not going to die. He died.
Yeah.
That was it.
Pretty gruesomely, too.
He just explodes. He becomes mush, green mush.
So then, like Natasha needs Coulson's password. So you had mentioned it before. So I wrote it down. It is #Steve Heart Steve 0704. So obviously referencing Coulson's crush on Steve Rogers or his super fandom. He has a man crush on him. 0704, Captain America's birthday, July 4th.
Mm-hmm.
So,
which again was great. Which again was fantastic.
Yeah, the details is where you kind of really win me over on these things. Then we get Then we get Nick Fury versus Hank Pym in front of Hope's graveyard, but we find out it's fucking Loki. And even Hank says it like, "Dude, you're pretty spry for a guy with a fucking office job now." And then we find out it's Loki and makes 1,000 of them and beats the crap out of them. But that was pretty cool.
And I knew that was Loki because when Fury was like, "I got to go make a deal with the devil," so I knew that he was going to sell out whoever was the killer, and he was making a deal with Loki. And as soon as he was able to move way more spry than he should have been, like, that's fucking Loki. So that was cool.
Yeah. What about Loki after that going to the UN and pretty much just saying, "Oh yeah, all the nations combined, and everyone's okay, and they're all one, but you're gonna." And then he gives pretty much his whole speech about you wanting to be ruled, and I'm talking to my subjects and all this other shit. So Loki decided, "Fuck it, I'm taking over."
Yep.
It's so similar to the speech he gives in Avengers.
Yeah,
right. Like
it's exactly that.
Human beings want to be subjugated. That is your lot in life. You are only happy when you're subjugated, and that's kind of what he says. So I thought it was an excellent ending.
And then, but then the ending though is then you like Tim just said, who the hell's going to stop him? And I find out, they referenced the beeper earlier. Apparently, Nick Fury contacted Captain Marvel, so she's back ready to kick ass. And also, Steve Rogers was still on ice, so he goes and is about to get Steve Rogers off ice, so where he's forming his own Avengers team, like a brand new one, I guess, because he's probably got a list of God knows how many people for the Avengers initiative.
Yep, that was cool too.
Who do you think would be on that list?
At that point, Danvers, Rogers. I mean, Peter's way too young at that point to be there.
Right.
Doctor Strange is doing surgery, so definitely not him. Just trying to stay within the MCU.
Right. I'm trying to think who would be around.
Staying within the MCU, they're all dead. At that time period, like you said, Peter's too young. Doctor Strange is not Doctor Strange. Don't get me wrong. The way they made Captain Marvel, she could probably wipe out Loki by herself. Pretty
much. Imagine that team up though. They are the Avengers, Captain America and Captain Marvel. They could probably kick some serious ass there. I gotta believe.
All they need is Captain Kirk and Derek Jeter, and they could be the captains.
Oh Jesus! That's true. So Alex is
and their sidekick will be Tennille.
Exactly. I like it.
I don't know about Scott Lang because Scott Lang's probably robbing people at that point.
Yeah. Or he's in school or college or learning how to become a security guy or some shit.
Scott Lang wouldn't have the access to Ant-Man technology yet.
Yeah, so he's not really.
It could be Ant-Man. Yeah. It could be Ant-Man and Hope. Might recruit him.
Even though Hank has lost his mind and became Yellow Jacket.
Yeah, I mean the technology's there. He'll go.
I've got one. Alex does have one here. Rhodey.
Yep.
The War Machine armor was there. Nice job, Alex.
That's right.
Nice job.
Good one, Alex. War Machine, definitely.
That could have been their Iron Man, essentially.
True. Very true.
Well, I guess it depends. Maybe if the Netflix universe is technically, if it's canon in the MCU, could go see this lawyer in the Hell's Kitchen.
Luke Cage, yep.
Luke Cage is out there. Yeah, you can go get them and screw it. You got your Avengers team right there.
Yeah, that's
there
true.
You go.
Nice.
Well, actually, that's a what if I want to see. What if the Netflix MCU stuff was canon?
That's true.
Show me an MCU with them in them.
Yes, or listen, our answer could the answer to this question could be in December, and No Way Home, like we talked about earlier. If Matt Murdock is actually in it, canon, everything it's all connected. Truly, then.
Yep,
it's very true.
It's him. I'm willing to bet dollars of donuts it's him.
Oh, that he's in the movie, or that he was the guy in the white shirt that everyone's jumping on.
He was the guy in the white shirt. I think it's his lawyer. I think that was Peter's lawyer.
Oh, okay.
I'm willing to bet. I'm willing to bet on it.
Okay.
I will bet you $1 and a donut that it is not.
Okay, I'll take it.
It's $1 and a donut.
I like it.
It's $1.65, right? I don't know how much donuts cost anymore.
But the guy in the white shirt has to be. The guy in the white shirt, you mean?
The guy in the white shirt in that scene in the interrogation room.
Has to be, yeah. That's what I'm betting.
I'll go for it. Why not? It's only $1 and a donut.
That's a great bet. That is a fantastic bet.
If I win, I probably won't even collect.
I'll take the donut at the $1 and put it in the donut, and I'll give it to you.
Ooh. Put the $1 in the donuts.
I like it. No, I'm gonna say yes. I think they're finally going to acknowledge that universe finally, because he said I think the rumor is Jessica Jones is going to show up on She-Hulk. So if that's the case, then it's got to be canon, because She-Hulk's going to be canon. It
should be awesome. I love it.
You know,
I would love it too. I mean, those shows are fucking awesome. I don't know what the rights thing is. Do they get them from Netflix for whatever, or I don't know what the hell that is. But maybe we'll find out one day.
If Netflix is smart, just like Sony has to be smart, just why Universal is still being stupid, it's a license to print money. It's printing. Yeah. That's why Sony for so long was so stupid and stubborn. Now they probably realize, holy shit, we probably made more money off the 2 Marvel Spider-Man movies than we did the previous 6. Because you just, that's how popular it is right now.
Yeah.
And they're still being stubborn and stupid because it's still like, okay, yes, you can have Spider-Man, but you can't have Venom because we have a Venom verse and a Mobius verse and a verse of other Spider-Man characters you couldn't possibly care about without Spider-Man. Like,
it's the same with Universal. Stupid. Yeah, Universal's being the worst because they just give the Hulk back because it can't be a Hulk movie ever. And they're not going to make one. They can't make one.
Yeah.
It's impossible. So just give the goddamn thing back. But they're afraid to lose the rights to the Avengers in the theme parks. You're not going to lose that. I'm sure Disney don't give a shit that they're using the Universal characters in the Universal Studios. Who cares? It's prints money. It's more money for you. It's just all it is. It's promotion. It's like, if you like the Avengers in Universal, go see the Avengers campus in Disneyland. You'll really like that. That's how I see it.
Actually, that's a good point. Yeah, they both could have it.
Yeah, which is pretty much what Alex is dropping in here too. I don't know why people are arguing over legal rights. Like they're both taking rights to characters part of the same universe. Dude, yeah, you're right. You're all gonna make money, man. So just work together and let it breathe. Let it simmer here.
I'm not saying a Hulk movie could work by himself, unless I think you'd have to do Red Hulk. You'd have to do something big and strong and powerful for a Hulk solo movie to work. But again, Universal, you give the rights back, let them take a shot at it. You take 10, 15%, they'll probably even give you 20, 30 for it, and you're gonna roll in the money, roll in it. Yep. So it's like, what's the point of holding on to that character? So stupid.
And I think they also have they had the rights to Namor the Submariner also.
Marvel got that back.
Yeah, they had it at one point. But what they have with the Hulk is stupid. It's just distribution rights.
Yeah.
They can't make a movie.
No.
It's literally impossible, like you said. And Marvel's just like, all right, fuck it. Well, you could use the guy in everything. We just won't call it Hulk. All right, no problem.
Right.
Yeah, they can't have a Hulk movie. He can be in team ups. He can be in Avengers. He just can't have a solo movie that you call the Hulk, which is so stupid.
It's really stupid.
And let's face it, that third Thor movie was a fucking Thor Hulk movie. Like
it was. It absolutely
in everything
was.
but title.
But yeah, as long as you don't say Hulk in the title, it's okay. So you can have a Hulk movie and call it, Jolly Green Man, and it'll be okay, I guess, because it's not the Hulk movie. Angry Green Guy. Call it that. Move on. It's so stupid. You're keeping my Red Hulk away from me by holding those rights, Universal. So, and I'm getting pissed about it.
I know you've been jonesing for that Red Hulk movie.
Look, I just see every time you bring back Captain Ross, whatever his name is, Secretary Ross. I just see it. I see him getting so annoyed that the Hulk, that Bruce Banner is still allowed to roam around, that eventually he'll become the Red Hulk. I just see it. But no, it ain't gonna happen.
I can't wait till we get the Gray Hulk. Mr. Fix It.
Yes, Mr. Fix It.
We don't need
where
that.
He's just like he works for the mob and he's not actually Bruce Banner or the Hulk. He's just the Gray Hulk in the mob. So that was a weird run of the Hulk.
My favorite is when Cosmic Spider-Man just basically punches him in the nuts on that cover of that comic. That's exactly what Mr. Fix It needed.
Just punching the nuts.
Solid punching the nuts from Spidey with fucking Captain Marvel's powers. That's what you needed. All right, so let's switch back to DC for our last segment of here. Titans season 3, episode 4, which dropped last Thursday, and episode 5 drops tomorrow. All right, so we found out that Hank's ass is done. Literally.
Yeah, for now.
And
for now.
Yeah. He's pretty much done. Everyone's pretty upset about it. Earlier on in the episode, we find out Superboy's guilt. That whole scene with him talking about that, I didn't see coming at all. When he's like, man, everyone was waiting for my other half to kick in, and he was upset that he couldn't save him because he's like, I'm not Superman. The Lex part took over. I didn't see that coming. That was pretty cool. I mean, it's never talked about again in the episode. I'm assuming they'll pick it up, going forward, because he kind of just like goes to the deli after that, and that's the end of that.
Yeah, but Dove explained it though. Dove said it. It wasn't your fault. It was my fault.
Yeah, but I can still see him being upset though.
If I didn't pull that trigger, you would have had enough time. But I pulled the trigger, so I think that's all right.
I think what we see going on with this character is the writers are trying to get him to sort of veer more into the Lex camp than the Superman camp, right? Because that's why this season he's been the tech guy, right? He's not the Superman tank taking bullets fighting guys. He's like, no, I'm working on stuff behind the scenes. I'm the tech guy. I'm the science guy, and which is what Lex Luthor is. So I think what the writers are trying to do is sort of take him more to the Lex Luthor route, like intellectually, because he's so strong. And I think it's a really interesting choice.
I think it's a really interesting character in general that he can do all of that from the Lex part, but yet he can go ahead and, as Tim would say, he can throw a fucking Volkswagen at somebody and kill them.
You know you like the Volkswagen.
Tim, do you think he could beat Batman?
Oh God, here we go. Why are we doing this?
Wait,
why are we doing this?
Superboy?
Yeah, Superboy.
You
the
think
one on
Superboy
Titans.
could beat Batman?
In this universe, old crusty Batman?
Yes.
I think he can beat anybody he wants
old
to. As long as you can throw a Volkswagen, I think you can beat anybody.
As long as you can throw a Volkswagen, I think you can beat anybody.
I need to get a Superman toy holding a Volkswagen. That would be my greatest. That would be my greatest action figure collection ever. I need Superman holding a Volkswagen, and I'll retire forever. That's all I need.
No, it's a good point though. Dove ends up kind of like talking him down, and him and Beast Boy get into some shit where they're arguing. He's like, why the hell am I talking to a fucking green tiger over here? And he pretty much just tells him, "Fuck you, you're not Superman," and just walks off.
Which is a great line. He's like, "Fuck you, you're right. Get out."
Yeah, exactly. Screw this. I'm done trying to talk you down. But then Dove's kind of like written out and was like, "Yo, I'm going to live in my parents' place in Paris," and she'll be back, but I feel like she's been kind of written out for a little while, and she'll be over there, and I'm sure some shit will go down. But then Beast Boy gets it again, like physically this time, though, because Starfire is fucking sleepwalking, and she just starts throwing fucking flames at him and pretty much, like, almost kills him. In Wayne Manor.
Crazy in this episode. She is crazy in this episode.
Can I give a shout out to Starfire? I want to give her a shout out because no matter what's going on in the world, she finds a way to dress like an 80s hooker, and it's fantastic. No matter what's going on, she finds those slutty ass outfits to throw on, and it's cool because she's an alien, so it doesn't matter what she does, but it's great. She cracks me up because I tell you right now, the episode, to sum up this episode, what line was it?
Go ahead. I wrote it down. I know. Go for it.
If you don't get out of my way, I'm going to burn your dick off. Best line I've ever. I was like, as soon as he said it, I said, boom, line of the episode. I'm good. I'm going to sit back and watch now because that was fantastic.
That was a quote in my notes because you're right. That might be the line of the season so far.
It was great. I was cracking up. The guy's like, no, I don't want you to burn my dick off, so I'll let you go.
Boy, he tries to reason for a second. He goes, well, I don't know if your fire powers, because they were dampened earlier when she fights Blackfire, and they have this hand-to-hand crazy combat. And then she's like, well, do you want to find out? And he's like, nope, I'm good. Nah, I'm not gonna test that thing. But the episode does kick off, though, where it looks like it's an assassination plot by Red Hood to try to take out Crane, and in Arkham, and then they end up transporting him.
Who? I'm sorry, but I just realized because I was watching it last night. I texted you last night. I was watching it, and I was like, "Wait, this is Vincent Kartheiser. This is the guy. He's the guy he's on the show Mad Men, like a very prominent character on Mad Men." But he is most famously known as Angel's son on the show Angel. And I didn't even recognize him. It was his voice. And I was like watching it going, holy shit, that's this guy. I have to admit, I really, really, really love his characterization of Crane. Like, I think they do a really good job of it.
Yeah, no, I think he's awesome. And then they kind of, after that, then he's going to be transported to Blackgate, and Dick Grayson finds out about that. He's like, nope, that shit ain't going down. He goes ahead and breaks him out of prison. I mean, out of the transport. Yep. So he never makes it to Blackgate. He takes him to a fucking cabin in the middle of nowhere. Well, apparently Bruce takes his Robins to fucking train them. And we find out Dick cut off Battle the Wolf and cut off his fucking head and brought him back to the cabin as a child. And he tells Crane, after this whole spiel, I shouldn't have been, because they talk about fear, and he's like, I shouldn't have been scared of the wolf. The wolf should have been scared of me. I was like, Nightwing ain't fucking around. Nightwing ain't fucking around, dude.
I think we can all agree Batman is, in this universe, an incredibly abusive father, right? Like, that's terrible. All right, son. Now you're going to kill this fucking wolf or die trying. Take its head, boy. Take its head. I mean, this is chilling stuff.
That's why I love this. I love this universe of Batman, and because we're finally getting to see. Because you know, in the old comics with the bright blue and the Robin, he was just trained. He was already an acrobat. All you had to do was teach him how to couple fight moves, and that was the end. This is really the first time you've seen like Batman beat the shit out of these kids, like really mentally. Like, hey, you're in the woods. You're by yourself. Go walk around in the woods. Why? Just do it. You'll. What happens. Oh, I'm getting chased by a wolf. Well, you better kill that wolf, or he's going to kill you. All right, I'll cut his head off. Here you go, Daddy. Here's the wolf's head. And Bruce probably like, you took too long, or you shouldn't. You know, I bet he wasn't happy that he cut the wolf. Why'd you cut the wolf's head off? Well, listen. I bet he was not satisfied that Dick cut that wolf's head off. I bet there was something wrong with it. But no, I love this interpretation.
Even if he was satisfied, he didn't tell him. He might have went, like, when he turned his back, I'm proud. But when he's looking at him like, not a clean enough cut, Dick. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And he was like nitpicking on the smallest thing. I kind of actually hate Batman in this show. He's pretty, like, and I love Batman, but he's really terrible in this show.
Yeah, he's a real asshole in Titans, man. So he pretty much brings him to that cabin there to lure out Red Hood because he knows Jason knows where it is. And then we also get this whole explanation, though, that Jason spilled the beans to Scarecrow, and he knows about Bruce Wayne. He knows about Robin. He knows about Dick. He knows everything. And he's like, why the hell did you do that? And then there's the question of how did Jason get to this point of being Red Hood? Like, was he manipulated? Was he created by conversations he had with Crane or not? And he's just kind of like, dude, the kid was already fucked up when he came to me. So, I just kind of like gave him some answers and kind of like slightly pushed him in that direction. And now he's the fucking Red Hood. You fucked him up with your Titans bullshit and started twisting and making Dick say that he was kind of like becoming Batman. He was turning into Bruce and tormenting all the Titans and shit.
Me personally, I don't see what they did was so wrong. I mean, I understand what happened with Jason at the end with Deathstroke and everything, but I don't think they did. Like, Dick did anything really wrong, or the Titans did anything really wrong. They were just like, dude, you're a little too crazy for us. Maybe you try something else. And he went back to Batman. So what? I think it has more to do with Crane's. Now I think it's Crane stuff that he's been inhaling, which is making him a little loopy. I think that's what's really doing it. But yeah, I mean, and again, Jason in this, what a wacko. What a freaking wacko this kid. And again, we don't know who's manipulating. Is it Crane manipulating Jason? Is it Jason manipulating Crane? And I think that's the best mystery that we're going to have until the end of the season.
I agree, Tim.
Yeah, I agree with that. Point. And I think also, like you said about you don't think the Titans really did that much bad to Jason. I agree with you. Like, it's terrible that he was dropped off for Deathstroke, but that wasn't the Titans' fault. That wasn't Dick's fault. Like, that was in that was situationally the way it happened. But I think the thing is that Jason has been set up to be a character who is flawed from the beginning. From the first or second episode that we meet him, he's not all there. Like, you could tell that they've been kind of thinking about, okay, at some point we're bringing Jason Todd to Red Hood, and so we're going to have him be kind of unstable from the very beginning. And I think he is. And I think that's also the point of why Batman's kind of a villain here, because Batman brought this clearly unstable child into the Bat family and made him a weapon. And I think that's what they're kind of doing here with the Red Hood story.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. We also got this fantastic fight around this time between Nightwing and Red Hood. Awesome fight, dude. That was a awesome, incredible fight there, which ends with the GCPD having a shot, and then Barbara tells him to take the shot. Of course, they fucking shoot Nightwing in the arm, and then Jason gets away, and then goes ahead and frees fucking Crane, and then that's where the episode ends.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that fight was fantastic, and that was one of those things where Jason had to pull out some tricks because he wasn't beating Nightwing, so he had to pull out the super slick tricks, because if not, he would have the shit beat out of him. And Dick knew it. Just I'm gonna maul this kid, but Jason's very, very slick. He's very tricky. Dick doesn't have that what do you call it?
Fight dirty type thing.
The dirty type in him. I mean, he fights mean. He fights real mean.
Yeah, he's ruthless.
But he doesn't fight dirty. And Jason was like, no. You might beat me this way, but I'm gonna kick you in the balls, or pull your hair out of your leg, or something stupid like that to get you to do it. And that was it was great fight.
Let's think, Dick Grayson, if he gets the upper hand on you, he'll break your arms, he'll break your legs, but he'll do it fairly.
Oh yeah,
he's not going to sucker punch you and take a nut shot, where Jason Todd will. Jason Todd will take any advantage.
He'll throw the Roddy Piper eye gouge at you if he has to, just to blind you. But Dick had him, and that was it. Jason had to go to the slick tricks. Then the stupid police show up.
Yeah, the GCPD police always fucking shit up.
They're worthless, the GCPD.
And there's a line in this too where Barbara says "Oh yeah, well, when she's talking to is it the mayor or somebody like that?
Yeah,
that they're having a conversation. Yeah, we can. GCPD can handle anything." And I'm like, yeah, right. If that was the case, Batman wouldn't fucking exist.
Yeah, exactly. You wouldn't have the most disgusting crime-ridden city in the country.
Exactly.
I do like the line that her boss says to her, out of deference to your father, who took a job that no one else wanted. I love that. All right, yeah, we'll give this to you because Jim Gordon did shit no one else wanted to do, and that kind of just tracks to me in this reality, because that was Jim Gordon, right? He took a job no one else wanted, and did his best with it.
And we find out Jim was Jim Gordon. This Jim Gordon was a whiskey man.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Oh, yes. I love that. Oh God, I can't believe I forgot about that. I love that. Yes. We just like, can I get your bourbon?
He drank. He drank being a commissioner of that city. No one can run Gotham without being a drunk on the side. Nobody.
Well, Barbara talks about that too, because she's like, "Oh, that's what I thought the bourbon was for," referring to like nulling pain and shit. And whoever that was like, "Oh yeah, speaking like a true Commissioner Gordon." She's like, "Nah, my dad was a whiskey man."
Yep, that was great. It was a great line.
That's a great. Yeah, that's a great moment.
So I guess let's throw it out there then. Who do we think is manipulating who? Red Hood or Crane? Well, a little both.
I don't know.
Well, I think he got the concoction from Crane, Jason. Okay. I don't know if he was smart enough to do. I mean, he did mix it by himself in that warehouse, but I don't think he got the knowledge how to do that. Even though he's reading a book. I mean, Daniel LaRusso could have learned from karate from a book, so I don't think Red Hood's going to learn how to mix a concoction from a book. I think he had Crane helping him with that concoction the whole time, and it screwed him up. Screwed him up big time. So I think right now it's kind of a 50-50 kind of thing where they both think they're in charge, but they're really not. But they got to work together now because now you're going to have Nightwing and the Titans on their ass. And like you said, anytime you got a Superboy in the background, it's never a good thing. And you got Starfire and you got Superboy, like I said, running around. And again, a dude is going to turn into probably a baboon pretty soon or an elephant or something crazy.
And, he's watching those videos.
Yeah. I mean, you got to really be careful now what you do. So I think it's going to come out to where they're both trying to be number one, and they're both going to lose.
And don't forget, they also have Raven, and they have fucking Wonder Girl also, even though she's dead at the moment. But we know that they got to cut to that sooner or later. Exactly, dead at the moment. But Raven is there, trying to revive her, which she will. So you have the Titans are pretty fucking superpowered, man. Like no pun intended. Like they really are. They got some heavy hitters, man.
They could fix Gotham probably in a week. They could.
You even sure the Titans could? Because it seems like nobody can.
Well, no one can.
Again, no offense to Batman, but he wasn't a superpowered dude. He was by himself too. Yeah. He was a lawyer, daddy, a rebel, like Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah, but the point of Gotham that is so. But the point of Gotham is that it's so corrupted at its core that no one can fix it. That the best chance it has is someone who has also been corrupted at their core to have to sort of grow. Batman is a guy who grew with this madness of Gotham City to try to defend it. I don't think anyone can save Gotham City. I think Ra's al Ghul was correct. The best thing you could do is to destroy it and build anew, but that's not how we do things.
Well, all right. Look at you going Ra's al Ghul on us.
I like that.
I'm just saying.
All right, Jason. I'm
just saying.
He's thinking that?
He's going Ra's al Ghul. He thinks Thanos is cool. That's all right. I get it. I know where your head's at now.
Look, my family goes away, and all of a sudden I'm a little tyrant in my own little world here. I was born in this show. I can't do the Bane. I just can't do it. I can't.
I was born in this show.
Yeah, just talking to a cup or something.
I was born in this show. I'm Christopher Bane walking.
Oh,
wow! This really went off the rails. On that note, we're gonna wrap this episode up, man. All right, so thanks for joining us tonight. We appreciate it, Tim. Thanks for joining us, and you're always welcome to come back and talk Titans and whatever the hell you want.
I'll always pop on for Titans. Titans is my favorite DC anything right now, so I'll definitely pop on for Titans all the time.
Tim, isn't this the closest we're ever going to get to a Batman television show? Like seriously,
a legit one.
Yeah. And like I said, it's violent, it's bloody, it's cursing, it's burning off dicks. It's Hank's ass. It's just a great episode. It's just a great show.
But even for me, man, you take all that out, the writing and the characterization, the acting is so good. Like that's what I'm here for. It's like these are the characters I want to see. This is how I want to see them portrayed. And I have to, because I'm a big on and off DCU fan. I want to give DC their due. They kill it with these shows.
Yeah,
but like you said too, you don't want them to go overboard to where they're the villain. But like you said, Nightwing, he's right at that edge. He'll break your arm,
Right.
He'll break your leg, he'll break this, he'll break that, but he won't kill you. But you like that though, because even like you said, as much as you love the Marvel, they don't do that. You know, they'll hit you with a shield and knock you out, throw you over the roof, except for the Hulk. He doesn't know what he's doing. But the rest of them just like, no, they won't try to kill you. These dudes are like, listen, I'm going to break your leg, break your nose, break your mouth, break your face, put you in the hospital for 2 years, but I won't kill you. I like that point. I've been wanting to see guys like that, especially Nightwing. I said I love that character, and I love where they're at right now. So, yeah, this is my favorite DC anything at the moment. So, I'll come back every week to talk about this show, that's for sure.
All right.
Nice.
Well, Tim, OG Granny's Peach Tea, I guess, next week again.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So, yeah, we'll be back next Wednesday night with another episode. We'll be talking about the latest episode of Titans, which will be episode 5. We'll have a brand new What If. Got some more CW verse, and I can't imagine we're going to get any other crazy trailers to kick off with, but who the hell knows? You never know, because apparently at CinemaCon they did show footage of the Batman, and maybe we get a new trailer. Who the hell knows? It'd be pretty great to look into that. But yeah, thanks for joining us tonight. We appreciate it. You want to catch Tim on? Tim's got 2 other shows 3, because I know We Stomped You Out is coming back if you're a Giants fan. But his new show, I'm sure that's what we're getting to, Shooting the Sith.
Nice.
The new Star Wars show on Pop Culture Pros. No, Tim will be bringing it. Tim, when are we going to get the first episode?
Tuesday. This Tuesday night.
Nice.
Night. I have one special guest on. She's a pretty cool chick. She tattoos and cosplay and collectibles, and I want to get the female perspective of Star Wars fans, especially now, because they didn't exist when I was growing up. That's for sure. Yeah, they all hid in their basements and never came out. They couldn't admit they liked Star Wars. Now, all the cool people do. So it's like, all right, time to interview these people and see what they're going on. So yeah, I got a cool special first guest Tuesday, 7:00. I think is the first show.
All right, so 7:00 Shooting the Sith, man. Brand new Star Wars show on Pop Culture Pros with Tim. So you can find him there. So you're alternating, right? Because Just Too Sweet, you're alternating.
You know what? Wrestling just got real hot again with all the stuff going on.
Oh, that's what I heard.
So either we're going to pull a double duty, I'm going to pull a double duty, or we're going to try to squeeze in Too Sweet somewhere else. I don't know yet. We haven't figured because it just got hot again. Oh, and Jason, by the way, I want you're officially invited for your segment called the Akbar Fact Bar. That's what I want to call it.
I have to look up.
I just want you to go on a Wikipedia or a Wikipedia and just learn everything you want to know, and just come on for literally 2 minutes tops. Just sprout about Admiral Akbar, and then just go away. I think it'd be a fantastic. I want to call it the Akbar Fact Bar. That's what I want to call it.
I gotta start putting my fact bar together. You know what I mean?
It's awesome. I love it.
But I'm excited. Thanks for the invitation. I'm going to be there.
Absolutely. And Eddie, you're always welcome, of course. I know you're ready. You're like down to argue some Star Wars. So.
Oh yeah, I'm thanks, dude. And yeah, no, I appreciate it. And you got a Book of Boba Fett in December, so.
Oh yeah, we'll be talking about it. We'll be talking about all that stuff.
Nice. So you got that. So look out for if you're into wrestling, check out Tim and Eric on the Just Too Sweet show. If you're into the Yankees, you got Empire 161. We will be back. We're aiming for next Monday. Because the Yankees are playing Sunday Night Baseball, so kind of tough to do a show while they're playing the game. So we will not be doing that. If you're into the Mets, you can check it out. The Faraci and the boys on the Put It in the Book show. And Jada and Kyle will be back soon. I'm sure they'll probably be talking about Candyman, because I know that drops this week, or whatever else they're going to be doing. So they cover the new movies around here. And then you got Four Quarter Show, which I'm not sure when Dave comes back. He seems to be popping in and out randomly. So
I think I heard him say he's shooting for next week sometime also.
Oh, nice. Okay. And you got A to Z show, which has been on Monday nights also. Eric literally covers everything from A to Z. So there is also that. So everyone have a good night. Enjoy the show. Check out Titans episode 5 tomorrow. What If next week. Come back and join us. And we'll see you all next week. All right. Peace.
Later.
Later.